It's okay, I guess.
Thanks, Nick Wusz. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to I Hate Music. This is episode 69.
69, dude.
69, yeah. Today, I've got my buddy Nick Wusz, as always. Today we have a special guest. That's Jori Apedaile.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jori. How's it going?
Jori.
Super good. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us. Today is a special episode for us. We're going to talk about Dungeon Synth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We were also joined by this little guy named Mortiis. You
Who's
may
that?
have heard of him. Ex-Emperor.
Oh, okay.
You heard of Emperor before?
I think I have.
Yeah. Little-known black metal band out of Norway.
Oh, wow. Norway?
Yeah,
Where's that?
Norway's not really known for black metal, but these guys, if they keep it up, they'll go pretty far.
Yeah, maybe. I'm wishing them the best.
Yeah. No, Mortiis has carved a really interesting path for himself over the last, 3 decades or so.
Incredible.
But yeah, we actually talked with him earlier this morning. We talked about Dungeon Synth and his musical life and other shit. And
he's done so much through so many different kind of styles and stuff. It's so incredible.
Yeah.
Really diverse catalog, yeah.
He is a visionary.
Yes. Yeah, and it was great to connect with him for a little bit. Excuse me. Getting a little verklempt. So what's been new, Nick?
Everything's good. Let's see. Happy New Year. Here we are.
2024.
Yep. Yeah, at this moment it's snowing, which feels kind of good to me. I like that. So it's perfect time to talk to Mortiis and get into the Dungeon Synth vibe.
That's right. What about you, Jori? What have you been up to? Anything cool?
Well, it's kind of a slow season as far as mastering work and stuff like that, so I'm focusing a little bit on recordings and some of my own personal new music right now.
Yep.
So it's been exciting.
Makes sense.
Lots of different, avenues I'm exploring right now, metal and non-metal. So
Very cool.
It's an exciting time.
Can't wait to hear it, bro.
That's good. The three of us last night went to go see Rock and Roll High School.
Yes, we did. Fantastic movie.
So fun.
Clinton Street Theater, Ramones. Most people that know me know that I am absolutely obsessed with the Ramones. They're probably my favorite band of all time, if I had to pick one. And, super huge movie for me as a kid. It really sold the Ramones for me.
Yeah, totally. I mean, they're featured heavily, which is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, every scene almost.
It's a super goofy movie, but it's really funny. Some really great performances by the Ramones. Great.
Especially in the bedroom with Randall.
I went you around.
Yeah.
Great scene.
So good.
It was Jori's first time seeing the movie. It seems like you enjoyed it.
It was. I'm kind of glad I held out until this experience.
It's good to see it that way.
I think I enjoyed it a lot more, and seeing it on the big screen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, that was great. Really enjoyed that.
Can we say what the best line was that Riff Randall said? Joey looks like a poem.
Like a poem.
I just love that. I don't know. Something really struck me about that.
But does he? I mean, he's not.
Maybe like a Bukowski kind of poem or something.
Yeah,
It's pretty deep. Yeah, I think my favorite line of the whole movie was still the music teacher when he's talking about how Beethoven composed a symphony while completely deaf, and he said that was very unheard of at the time.
Great dad joke.
That got me pretty good.
Great dad joke.
Yeah, I could hear you laughing from behind me when he said that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, fantastic movie. If you haven't checked it out, you should check it out. I'm sure it's available pretty much anywhere.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Let's do the shit I always have to get out of the way. Earth and Sound store, of course, earthandsound.org. We do have the new I Hate Music Scum designs in.
They look great,
in
dude.
and shipping.
Turned out awesome, I think. You're wearing one right now.
I am. T-shirts and hoodies. They are great. They are available for purchase. They're almost gone, so if you want them, jump on it. As always, we have the playlist on Spotify. You can find the link for that on our link tree, which you can find.
Although we must say that a lot of Dungeon Synth is on Bandcamp.
That's true.
Hardly any of it, actually, is on Spotify.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that. So we did our best.
We did our best for the Spotify playlist. But, as always, check out the stuff on any platform that you want.
Yeah.
But you can find that Spotify playlist on our link tree, which is on our Facebook, our Instagram, and in the show notes to the episode. And again, as always, please email us with questions, concerns, comments, worries, whatever you have, to hate.pod.music@gmail.com. Personally, I love the emails. We've been getting a lot of emails, and it lets me know that people are listening and that people are engaged, and it also gives me ideas of topics, things to talk about This last time, we got a lot of emails.
Hopefully none of it is correcting any stupid shit I might say about facts.
There's no corrections this time.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I think they're just being nice.
I'm sure. Well, I screwed up the Slayer song last time. That was pretty bad.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. No, nobody got on me about that.
Nice.
For
Okay,
sure.
Cool.
No, so speaking of which, let's get into some listener emails here. Well, actually, there was a correction.
Damn it.
I forgot. This is from Matt Kenny.
Oh, no.
In Olympia.
Matt. He's on it.
He says...
He's an old friend of mine, actually, so it's funny.
On episode 64, you looked up the wrong death metalish album for Testament. Gene Hoglan did play drums on Demonic. You guys looked up The Gathering, also a great album.
So Demonic was the one that Hoglan played on? I wonder who played on The Gathering then, because that was
Jori, can you look that up?
Okay. Yeah, maybe it wasn't as death metal as Demonic was, but they were headed that direction.
I don't know. I'm not really familiar with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about DiGiorgio too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
he may have been on one or both of those albums too.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Thank you, Matt. Damn.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
So Dave Lombardo was the drummer on The Gathering.
No way.
That's what it says here on
Wow.
Okay.
Insane.
Encyclopedia Metallum.
Insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
so he came, Hoglan came after that then.
Yeah.
On Demonic.
So we appreciate the corrections.
Yeah.
I think they're really, really important.
Yeah. Hopefully I remember. I'll screw that up again, I'm sure.
So you remember we had a call out for New Mexican bands.
Yeah, that guy was great.
Yeah. So my friend from Romania, Sebastian, I met him when Agalok played in Germany at Prophecy Fest. He came all the way from Romania to see Agalok.
Nice.
Very good dude. Hung out with him for quite a bit. He misunderstood the question. He didn't get the assignment. He thought I was saying new Mexican bands.
Oh,
not
Mexican bands.
Yeah.
Not. We don't want to talk about the older ones.
Right. We just want the new ones. But he wrote in.
That's cool.
So he says, my top Mexican band pick would be Under Moonlight Sadness.
Oh, wow.
After the Cosmic Gate album. If I were to pick a track that would be Reflections in a Dark Mirror.
Wow.
John Tardy growling on Therion. That's how I would describe them.
Wow.
Such a promising band that vanished. Honorable mentions, not exactly from Mexico, but very close. Heresy from Costa Rica. They have an album called Blasphemia, with no track in particular, would be a high recommendation of mine. Also, The Grey Forest. The album is self-titled from Chile. I especially love the Sobra las Montañas track. And he has a question. What do you guys think of Tom Araya coming out as a Christian after their split up? And then he says, from Romania, I wish you both an unholy Christmas and Happy New Year.
Nice. Thank you, from Romania. My opinions on Tom Araya are that...
Coming out as Christian.
Yeah, I think that it was Catholic, actually. And I think that he had actually talked about that during the reign of Slayer.
I think so, too.
Not that it was like brand new or anything. But
that doesn't come as news to me either.
No,
I feel like...
I think that was discussed in the past. But
yeah.
I mean, growing up Catholic like he did, I left it very young, and it's really difficult as you get older to push it aside. And, as much as we all hate religion. Yeah. I mean, I've pushed it aside successfully, but maybe it's just a struggle for some people that it's in their culture and stuff. I don't have anything against Tom Araya. No way.
Yeah. I mean...
Dave fucking Mustaine is Christian, too, so who gives a shit?
I feel like the only reason it's a topic of discussion is obviously because of the subject matter of Slayer.
Sure. It was hard for him, I think. Right. He did admit that a few times.
Yeah. But, also, it can't be that much of a surprise to anyone that's, over, 25 or so. It's like...
Yeah.
It's Slayer. They're a major thrash band.
And us imagining that wasn't a gimmick, not a gimmick, but they're playing a part.
They're playing a part.
It's theatrical, or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
And of course it was. A lot of that subject matter was meant to be shocking.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if Glenn Benton came out and said he was Christian,
and he does the tattoo but upside down on his forehead,
or he just stands on his hands all the time, or does
there you go.
Headstands.
This is how you're supposed to see this, right?
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
That would be pretty shocking too.
Yeah. That would be shocking. Tom Araya, yeah, not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Okay, we also have an email from Dallas Bolin. I know this guy a little bit. He says, I'd love for it to be discussed how much I find it to be bullshit that labels like Century Media, Nuclear Blast, Relapse, etc., still refuse to join in on the Bandcamp game, or even giving a download code of the physical album you bought. I shouldn't have to buy digital after I've already bought a physical copy of an album. That's fucked off, and I will always torrent rather than bend to their lack of user-friendliness. That's why I love labels like Everlasting Spew, Transcending Obscurity, 20 Buck Spin, Crowd Chamber, Dark Descent, and others. They get it when it comes to knowing that it's us fans who make all the shit happen for them, and we notice these little unspoken things and sometimes donate more than what the purchase price was because I want these labels to thrive. These dinosaurs need to get with the times and stop mucking about in the amber.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot to say, I think.
Yeah,
about this.
I mean,
I think the labels are in the business of selling physical media, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't think they give a shit about the digital stuff, and they're not making any money off it. They're not even.
But
Nuclear Blast isn't even selling digital.
But the point is like if you buy the record, it should come with a download code.
Okay, and what do you do with that? Like, as a modern iPhone user, I just use Spotify a lot of times, unfortunately. But I also don't have a lot of storage to store that shit, so I don't know.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's not how I operate. I don't download.
I feel like I'm old when I ask this.
I'm a mixture still. I mean, I have a pretty robust iTunes library that I started, when I was a kid. And I still have it all backed up on an external drive, but like most stuff, I mean, when I get a download code, I'll usually just download like sometimes even like a WAV file of it, which is super fun for me.
And you just store it on your computer then, or
or I'll, I don't necessarily listen to like downloaded files all the time, but it's nice to have that, in case anything happens. I mean, I guess like a lot of people have that, school of thought of like, I own this. If the internet suddenly goes away, I'll still be okay. I like that sense of security, but I don't necessarily partake in that or like utilize that every day.
Yeah.
But
when I get a download code in a cassette or a CD, I just goes right in the garbage. I don't even do anything with it.
Yeah,
because most of the time it's available on Spotify, which is where I go. I know it's shitty and all that, but it's amazing how much is available on there.
Yeah, I just keep mine in the record or whatever. It's just part of the record for me. I never download anything.
So this indicates to me that people are still populating their iTunes libraries and stuff.
Things like that, or other MP3 players, media devices are still a thing. I don't think it's as huge of a market as back when iPod was in its heyday.
Started,
right?
Exactly. Before Spotify, that's how I did it. I downloaded everything.
Another thing is, when people buy CDs, a lot of computers don't come with disk drives anymore, so you can't just plop that in and rip it to your, so a download code is super helpful.
Yeah, interesting.
For the people that want to do that.
Or like traveling, I mean.
That's true.
Yeah.
Getting the offline kind of files or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I know people are still doing it. I don't do it myself, but I do think it's like a gesture of goodwill on the part of the labels.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It doesn't cost them anything.
Right. It seems like a very easy thing to do.
It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
I wonder what their reasoning would be for not doing that, People
probably just think that nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares because they have Spotify.
Yeah. Well, listen to me, Nuclear Blast. They do.
Yeah. Something that's interesting from like a business standpoint is like, if they decided to put their music on Bandcamp and charge a couple $, for a digital download, that is such an easy, low-cost thing to do for them,
No
and
overhead.
If
really,
it brought in a little bit of money, that's still easy money that, they can
that is strange. Have an intern start the Bandcamp page, and how long would that take? Nothing.
Nothing. I'll do it.
Yeah. You will?
No, I won't do it.
Yeah.
Nuclear Blast, please email Jason to set up your Bandcamp pages.
He'll do it for you.
Yeah, I'll interview them. Yeah. Okay, I like this one. This one's pretty fun. This is from Kyle Mitchell. Hello, Jason and Nick. Glad to hear the pod is chugging along. You seem to attract Kyles, as I am the OG Kyle that emailed you back in July and dropped some Opeth trivia. Though new Kyle sounds like a great dude. So I called out this Kyle, but I was calling out the wrong Kyle.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, we have too many Kyles.
Yeah, there's a lot of Kyles out there.
I wanted to mention to Jason that Agalloch is a special band for me, and The Mantle is a top 5 album of all time for me. Thank you for producing such an amazing album.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. This is cool. This is something that never occurred to me. For the acoustic episode, I'm surprised that Alice in Chains' Jar of Flies was not mentioned. They're lumped in with grunge, but I've always considered them a metal band at heart. Keep up the great work, dudes. I hope I get a chance to see Agalloch in 2024 if you come to New York. It's interesting. I never thought about Alice in Chains being metal, but, I mean,
And for me, I think by the time I actually heard them, it was there in the radio times, you know.
Yeah.
So at that point, it seemed to me like it was grunge. So I didn't know their history or anything, but I can see how they're like a Soundgarden or something. They were heavier.
Yeah, I mean they had their moments that were definitely heavier.
Mm-hmm.
I
think
totally.
the guy would actually talk about. I forget the guitarist's name now. He would actually talk about his metal influences.
Jori Cantrell.
Yeah. He would talk about Sabbath and stuff. And that's cool.
I mean, and they definitely have their moments, especially like on Dirt, that are very.
Mm-hmm.
I would never say metal, but I could see like Smashing Pumpkins, like they had they're influenced by like Obituary and shit. So it's not like unheard of, but it seems. I wouldn't call them a metal band, and that's why I wouldn't put them in the episode.
Exactly.
But Jar of Flies it's a great EP, and I do love Alice in Chains up to a point.
Sure.
Well, thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle.
Okay, so here's another Kyle.
Oh God, they both wrote in.
Yeah, they both wrote in. Well, Kyle, I can't pronounce his last name. Heider. He won our contest, our giveaway last time.
Nice, congratulations.
Excellent.
Oh, no, he didn't. Fuck, I just fucked it up.
Dude.
No.
Edit.
God damn it.
Still think you're great, Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle, you're pretty cool still.
No,
Don't worry.
he is the one that ordered the Dolvin record.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we autographed it on the air, that one?
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Yep. I think so, right? I think this is the guy.
Well,
fuck, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I
Kyle,
can't.
you're great, bro. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. He was. He says, I was surprised to get my signing request filled on air, blah, blah, blah. He made my Christmas.
Nice. He made his Christmas.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He says, the simple act made my Christmas before it began, but it also gave me a thought for a future pod discussion. Meeting your metal heroes. Who have you or Nick met that you revered as teenagers or in your formative metal years? Has anyone been especially cool, specifically in your adult life? Obviously, you can't dunk on the jerks, but it'd be fun to hear who you're still starstruck by or want to meet. And also some quick housekeeping. I was not the person you made fun of for a typo. I gave some Alaskan metal intel instead. I can't keep track of all these people. If you were to make fun of me, it'd be because I accidentally sent you many pocket-dialed voice memos discussing Drag Race with my partner. Oops. I don't recall this at all. Oh, last name is pronounced Heider. Nice. I will give you points because you got Kyle correct.
He's a funny guy.
Halfway there.
Anyways, have a great holiday. I hope Aglock, Dolvin, et al. Can come to Pittsburgh one day.
Wow.
Yeah, let's do it. Dolvin, Pittsburgh next year.
It'd be amazing.
Okay.
First show ever.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. That's appropriate.
First and only show.
That'd be so cool.
Movie.
Okay, so any metal heroes or
well,
musical
today
heroes?
was a good one. Mortiis. I was a little anxious to talk to him. It wasn't like all my life I've been waiting to meet Mortiis or anything, but it was really great to talk to him. And you do feel a little intimidation, when you're talking to such a legend. But just trying to play it cool.
Yeah.
But normally when I see somebody, I don't approach them very often. There's a few people in my life that I have approached, and it was just really to get that souvenir of a picture. It wasn't really to have any discussions. But Steve Harris of Iron Maiden, I saw him in London at Blaze Bailey show.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Oh, God. And I was so nervous. Like, oh, shit, there's Steve Harris. What do I do? So I got to get a fucking picture. I had my camera. I got to do this. This is like once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I had my friends like, please do this really quickly. Let's just go up. And I did it really quickly. And it's like one of my best moments because I have a picture of it and I have it framed and everything. But
amazing.
I don't know. Occasionally when you meet your heroes, you're disappointed. So I haven't really approached too many people, actually.
Right.
I like to give them their space, and I know that they're conscious about that, but maybe not. Maybe they do want to chat. I don't know.
I think it really depends, I mean.
Yeah. You've encountered a lot more for sure,
Yeah, I mean, like when I was a lot younger, I would approach people all the time. But it was like, which is kind of funny because I don't do it as much now, but now it doesn't give me as much anxiety as it used to.
Yeah.
But I've had great conversations with like Chris Barnes, James Murphy, Lee Dorian, Mike Patton.
That's amazing, yeah.
Like a lot of people that I super admire and respect.
Steve Asheim.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah. I've been lucky enough to meet quite a bit. Or Martin Van Drunen, you know? I mean, I've hung out with him multiple times.
Oh, we talked to the Warning guy, Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah, we talked to him.
Yeah, one of my absolute heroes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, dinner with him.
I was nervous
that night.
about talking to him because he's one of my heroes too. But it was good.
Yeah.
I didn't get a picture that night though.
Yeah, I didn't either. But with like the touring and stuff that I've done, I've had the opportunity to meet quite a few people like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a lot more.
I don't think that I've ever had any bad experiences. The worst one was Frank Mullen from Suffocation.
Oh.
And all that was like, oh, hey, Frank. And I was 18.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Frank. And he's like, I'm not Frank. And like walked away.
Oh, but it was him.
It was definitely. He just walked off stage.
Oh, wow.
And like,
I approached Mike Muir in Salem. I saw them play, and there was like it was an undercrowded, underpopulated show. And he made himself available after the show, and I approached him just for an autograph or whatever. But never really had any like discussions, you know.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. But he'd be cool to talk to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He'd be really cool to talk to.
He's very vocal.
Yeah. What about you, Jori?
My big one that I was super nervous about, so I finally got an opportunity to see Opeth in 2011, and I was only 20 years old at the time. It was my first.
I think I was at that show with you without knowing it in Spokane,
we didn't know each other back then. Yeah,
that's cool.
But I drove all the way from Bozeman, Montana, to go see them, and I was the only, for whatever reason, I was the only VIP member who bought the VIP pass to see them backstage, and so it was just me and Opeth, and like. I was intimidated as fuck. I'm like, what am I going to talk to these guys about? What am I going to ask them? So I felt like kind of a fanboy ass. Like I just kind of asked, like.
About albums and stuff?
Right. I'm like, well, you guys, I guess you're not screaming on this tour. I mean, that's fine, but like, you could, I don't know. It was really awkward, but also they were just champs about it. They were such nice people, and they just kind of seemed tired, so they were hanging out. One fun trivia fact is that they offered me a beer, but knowing who I am, I'm like, I'm not old enough, guys. Straight-laced piece of shit that I am.
Yeah.
And so I could have had my first beer with Opeth.
Dude, what a story that would have been.
But I had a cup of coffee instead. So.
It was your first cup of coffee with Opeth.
Right, yeah.
Did you get a picture of these guys?
I did,
and
all of them,
good.
yeah. It was a great experience. But that's super awkward that I was just, this kid.
Yeah.
And them, and that's it. So
I have a funny story about a friend who he was just a fanboy of Hellstar, and James Rivera is the vocalist, and he's an amazing vocalist, and he saw them live, and he approached James Rivera, and Rivera's like, yeah, come back to my tour bus, and he was like, oh God, this is going to be amazing. So he goes on the tour bus, and these guys were like hardcore drug users, and the shit was going down on the bus. I'm not gonna say what drugs or anything, but my friend was just like, it totally evaporated his love and just like this excitement that he had, because these guys were just like, not just weed, they were doing hardcore shit.
Oh boy,
it's just a funny story.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
We hung out with Mayhem on their bus.
Yeah, that was cool.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was amazing. They were really chilled.
Yeah, I've hung out with Mayhem a couple times. They've always been super nice to me. That's what I'll say.
Oh, there's
issues there for sure.
I see. Yeah.
As a straight white man, they've always been very nice to me.
I see. Oh, damn. Yeah. I don't know about these.
I mean, I don't really either. It's accounts from people that know them well that I'm not going to get into on the air.
Tread carefully there, yeah.
Yeah, but that was great. Of course, Alex Webster. I've become friends with him.
Yeah, that's cool. You've developed a relationship with him.
Yeah. Were you... You didn't go on the Cannibal bus with me, did you?
No.
I think that was just John. But
that's cool, man, that you got to... I mean, that would be like a dream kind of a podcast guest, too.
Oh, yeah. I've asked him.
Good.
I've asked him.
Good.
We have a couple of really cool guests that are coming up that I'm not going to talk about. But we got some shit lined up that's going to be next level, I think. Yeah. But yeah, like Alex, super good dude. The Cannibal guys are great. Mayhem was really fun to hang out with.
I think the older I get, the more I just realize these are just normal people, and I don't really get it. Yeah.
It's still cool though, like because people that you admire, respect, and that are living these like cool lives or doing something interesting or whatever. Yeah,
I think it's just better for my mindset to know that it's like, oh, they're just normal people like us, and it's easier to approach them in that way if I wanted to.
For sure. Lawnmower Death was huge for me.
Oh, you went on stage, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that was like going from...
That's amazing.
As a kid in high school, like wanting to cover their songs and like painting their logo on my jacket to being on stage with them and then making records with them, and, like that's...
Yeah,
that's like...
Andy Whale as well. I mean, like these kind of...
Andy Whale, dude. I'm making records with him too now. Incredible. It's crazy.
Yeah, you've been blessed.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those. But Martin Van Drunen was really special, too, because I met him once. Growing up, he was like my vocal idol. When I was in my grindcore band, I just tried to emulate Martin Van Drunen. Mm-hmm. The first time I got to meet him was like my mind was blown. And then I kept running into him. And now it's to the point where like he'll see me at a show and he remembers me.
Wow.
And it just blows my mind. That Asphyx show was the last time I saw him.
That was incredible.
And I was like, I'm going to approach him but he's not. There's no reason he would remember me, you know.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, dude, like, yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
and that was at Tonic Lounge, R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Cool place.
Yeah.
I wish that place was still around.
I don't know what's there now, apartment blocks or something.
Yeah, something like that.
We should do a whole Bandrunen episode.
Yeah, we
that
really
would be
should.
Really cool.
Maybe get him on. Maybe.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
That would be amazing. But we could just talk about his music. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to get guests for every show. I feel like I'm getting excited about having guests, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not the point of this thing.
I got you.
Yeah. Don't get me excited. Right? Okay, we only have like 2 more quick emails. This is from. So this is interesting. You got an email from your old friend. This is an email from an old friend of mine, Dan Hill from Minneapolis.
Nice.
When I first moved to Minneapolis, he was a friend that I made fairly quickly. For some reason, I don't remember why exactly, but I called him Confederate Hat Guy.
Okay.
And so if you listen to the old Sloth demos that I did in the 90s, there's songs like Confederate Hat Guy plus poop or something. He's thanked in like everything I did back then. Like he was a close friend. We've fallen out of touch, but just because of time and distance and all that. Yeah. But he wrote in. First time I heard from him in quite a while. That's awesome. And honestly, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be for the podcast or just for me, but fuck it, I'm going to read it anyway.
Okay, cool.
Hello, old friend. Dan Hill here. I hope you're well. It sounds like things are going good in your camp. Obviously, we have had very limited interaction since you left Minneapolis, but I've followed your career and have enjoyed your projects over the years. I actually listened to Especially Likely Sloth a few years ago on Christmas break when I was sorting and labeling my old tapes. So many Simpsons and Cannibal the Musical samples. The first time I saw Cannibal the Musical was with him.
Nice, that's so
on
good.
Like an advanced copy of VHS at his house.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So good.
We spoke briefly when Agalloch played Minneapolis, and one random night I was berated by the lead singer of Primordial on one of your Facebook posts for stating my unpopular opinion that Exodus sucks from a lyrical standpoint.
Can we pause real quick?
Yeah.
We hung out with the dude from Primordial, too.
Oh, that's right.
That
Alan,
was awesome.
We had beers
Alan,
with him.
dude,
Yeah.
He's
a great dude.
Great dude.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh, they're playing MDF, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. Maybe we could see him.
Is Atheist playing too?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I was hoping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, Alan's great.
Cool guy.
He hates American beers, though.
Yeah.
I tried to give him an IPA. Well, yeah. Okay, so he's complaining. Dan's complaining about Exodus lyrics.
Okay.
Quote, I'll teach you a lesson in violence you won't soon forget. The pleasure of watching you die is what I get. Terrible. I digress.
That's funny. That's funny.
I know lots of fine metalheads like them, as is their right. I like some stuff I could be verbally slain over, as we all do. I think all metalheads and music enthusiasts, for that matter, form an interesting Venn diagram when compared to another one's tastes. I've been meaning to listen to your podcast for a while, and tonight I finally did. I started with the Halloween episodes you did a couple months ago, as I am a horror guy. I didn't know how much I was missing hearing adults speak of the music I grew up listening to and continue to enjoy. As I have aged, the amount of people I can talk to about death, doom, thrash, black folk, etc., metal, has been greatly reduced. I still go to shows and have a couple show friends that like the energy, but they do not actively follow the bands. Most of the folks my age no longer listen to new music and or no longer want to hear heavy stuff. It was nice to hear you and your host wax philosophical about the Grind Crusher album, which was life-changing for me, and your eventual embrace of the good Metallica. I didn't know you went from punk to black metal. It's not true. I went from punk to death metal.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's still a big jump.
Yeah.
It's a weird jump.
Yeah. It explains a few of our musical disconnects as younger men. I'm not proud of much, but I have kept an open mind musically and therefore have enjoyed watching the form of music I love from a young age grow and thrive globally more than some. I'm not a closed-minded old schooler that complains when a band has keyboards, violin, female vocalist, etc. I'll spare you a long list of bands you should check out. I'll just say I still love me some metal of almost all varieties, as it sounds like you do as well. I have subscribed and look forward to catching up on the back catalog and hearing some new bands to check out. Take care and have a great 2024.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was excellent.
Yeah. Good to hear
really
from him.
Well thought out.
Yeah. He and I did a demo once in the 90s in one day. My girlfriend at the time said, you guys should go, like, fuck off to your room because you're annoying us. And I was like, hey, let's just, like, record a demo. And we did. And we called it Underpants Ahoy.
I love that so much.
And I have it somewhere.
Nice.
I don't even remember what it sounds like,
amazing.
but I'm sure it's amazing.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be. He brings up some interesting topics, one of them which is, like, as we grow older, it's like the people you connect with in music, it's a little changes, you know?
Yeah, it changes.
We're not out there at shows all the time or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, life happens. People change, times change.
Yeah. I think he brings up something that's been on my mind a lot lately. Like, you and I go to shows together often.
Yes.
At least if they're happening.
Yes.
We go to them, and we make an effort to go to them. And we go up front.
Yes.
And we get in with the people, and we get sweat on, and we get
I like that energy. Yep.
pushed around. I have many other friends that are like, "Oh, I never go to shows at all anymore."
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, like that dynamic. Or I have friends that are like, "I don't check out any new bands ever at all."
Yeah.
It's interesting.
There's not a lot of people you can find that are on your same journey as you.
Yeah. Agreed. So he brings up that point. That's interesting.
Also, he brought up that some people go to shows just for the energy and not exactly the bands. That's interesting. I met this dude once, and he struck me. He was a work friend. He struck me as very straight edge.
He struck you?
Stuff.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But talking to him, telling him I was into metal, he tells me that anytime Vader is in town, he goes to see Vader. And it was because of the energy. He doesn't even really know the music. And it struck me as strange, you know, like, wow, that is strange. Of all bands, you know.
And we were just talking about Vader yesterday.
We were, yeah. The ultimate incantation. I
always forget just how good they are.
Yeah,
when
it's
I
so
go back
tight,
and
dude.
So tight. Exactly.
So tight. And I think it's what he liked about him, just like that precision.
Yeah.
As in, he was an engineer as well. So I wonder if that...
It is like a really relatively unknown
band,
of
all bands.
Even in death metal.
Yeah.
It's kind of what... Yeah, it's weird.
But it was his once a year to, like, let loose, you know, to go see Vader.
Wow.
Yeah. Weird.
Huh.
And I was like, let's go to a different show, you know. There's a band coming up next week. And he'd be like, not interested.
Interesting.
Weird.
That's wild. I wonder if it's a familiarity thing or if it's just like, you know.
He knows he'll have a good time there, I guess, or something like that. And
I suppose.
He doesn't really like the music enough to go check everything out, but he wants to see the energy of the one band they like.
Huh. So he's not a death metal fan?
Nope. Not at all.
Really?
Not at all.
Wow.
It was really weird. First time I've experienced
just Vader.
Just Vader. For whatever reason, it was Vader.
Weird.
And he'd go once a year when Vader came to town to see a show.
Wow. Huh. It's a weird world we live in when Vader comes to town once a year, too.
Seems like they do.
Yeah, they do. I remember when Dark Tranquillity was coming here like once a year, too.
Oh, in their softer years? Or later on.
Yeah, later
That's
on.
too bad.
Let's not talk about that too much. Okay, last email. This is the winner of our giveaway from last episode.
Nice.
Another Kyle. No, not really. His name, I can't pronounce this name. Leonard Ermel, I guess.
Yeah, that looks like it.
Yeah. He said, "Dear Jason, is it the White EP?" Okay, so yes, it's the White EP. I thought this was something that people didn't really know about. Apparently everybody knows about this. I got dozens of responses, so...
What was the question again? To remind
the question again was, aside from the demo, which Agalock release am I not on?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the White EP.
Yeah.
I was living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the time. A lot of the stuff was pre-recorded, and John and Don just kind of like fleshed it out.
There wasn't a lot of bass on that album.
There's a little bit, and I think John did the bass.
Okay.
But I'm not on that one. I thought people didn't really know that, but apparently everybody knows. So I sent him a big package, a bunch of shit.
Very cool.
Yeah. All the way to Germany.
Amazing.
Cost me like $600.
Yeah, you paid the price.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, what a dedicated host you are.
Yeah. But this is kind of cool. I actually met him in Germany at the Prophecy Fest. I remember this happening, but it was like just a brief encounter. But he did a little sketch of us doing sound check.
Wow.
And so he sent me a scan of the sketch. And
that looks really good.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
I mean, it's to the likeliness for sure.
It's hard for me to turn this laptop around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think I showed that to you before, didn't I?
I think you did.
Yeah.
You sent it to me.
Yeah.
It's great.
But I think it's really cool.
He's a good artist.
Yeah. That's it for emails. I would like to do another giveaway like that, like another trivia giveaway. Email me at hate.pod.music@gmail.com. And the question is, if you give me an idea for a good question for next episode,
you'll get a package.
Yeah, you'll get a package. So if you have any good ideas for trivia questions, email us.
And the ones that you can't look up on Google, that's the secret,
that's the hard part, right?
Yeah, everything you can look up. But.
everything you can look up. But the first person that emails me with one that I like, yeah, email me with an idea about a good trivia question, include your address and shirt size, and I'll send you some garbage that you'll just have to throw away instead of me.
Lots of download codes.
Lots of download
love
codes.
that.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. You ready?
Ready.
How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good. So I'm trying to figure this the headset thing out because I hate wearing them like this.
Yeah.
Then I can't hear my fucking voice.
Yeah, exactly.
True. Yeah.
And the speakers on this laptop are fucking broken, so I have to do it this way.
Yeah, nice.
You're like a real
Yeah.
DJ with the one headphone.
The one headset.
Yeah. I'm fucking
Yeah.
spinning fucking techno.
So you were in the studio today recording?
Well, I'm here pretty much every day, just trying to work on this new album of mine. I mean, usually I just get in the studio and then I realize everything I did the day before was shitty.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just do everything over again. And then I get back the next day and then it was like a little less shitty. And then I do most of it over and, until you're done.
Yeah.
So in about 10 years, I guess we'll have an album.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Yeah, 10 years. That's
No, it's
quick
going to
turnaround.
be probably a couple of months. I'm getting there now.
Your output seems to be pretty prolific. I don't know. As far as my creativity, it comes out a lot slower than yours, dude.
It's kind of like I have periods when I do a lot of stuff, and then I just have periods where I just I fuck around and nothing happens for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, right.
So I probably have like 5 albums started,
Wow.
all going in different directions, and so you just kind of have to like buckle down and focus on one of them.
Right.
I can relate to that a lot right now. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Do those all become Mortiis albums, or are they other projects you have as well?
I think they're going to be all Mortiis albums.
Nice.
I'm kind of over the whole side project thing. But,
Yeah.
but you never know.
Yeah. Right.
If something turns out to be so fucking like weird and out there, that it won't even fit as Mortiis, then maybe I'll break something back from the grave, as far as side projects. But I don't think so.
Yeah. That makes sense. So we're all in Portland, Oregon here, and you were here last summer. You played Enchanted Forest and Star Theater.
Yeah. Right.
I unfortunately had to miss those shows because it was my daughter's birthday. But
both
yeah.
days.
Well,
Yeah, what the hell's your problem,
yeah,
man?
yeah. She has 2 birthdays. No, the one in Enchanted Forest sold out like way quicker than I could get a ticket.
Yeah.
That was a small show, though, man. It was like, what was it, like 150 people or
Yeah,
something,
exactly.
or
Yeah,
something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I missed out. But you guys went, didn't you?
I went. It was a spiritual, man. It was
Terrible.
really cool.
Terrible.
No, for me it was not. I don't know about you, how you feel, but I really enjoyed the show, and I thought you nailed it. And
It was all
hearing
right.
that-
I mean, it was weird, and I like the place. It's not your typical venue for me, but I think what made it stranger was the fact that was the first time I did that album.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's all the maiden voyage, So they were like two strange things. It's a cool place, no doubt about it, but it's an unusual venue. And you're doing a lot of that music for the first time I ever had it live. So
had you had requests for that in the past? Were you
head.
asked a lot about playing that album before?
I don't know if I think not necessarily asked to play it live, but a lot of people talk about it as in that sort of Dungeon Synth kind of conversation. If I talk to them, it gets brought up. as the one that they seem to like the most. You know, not everybody, but a lot of people seem to enjoy that one in that sort of Dungeon Synth kind of setting.
Right.
You know, because I think the records that came after that, I evolved a lot after that. You know, it became a little more epic-ish, and then the songs got shorter, and all of a sudden I was doing like English lyrics. So I suppose the atmosphere on the first album, I kind of moved away from it, and you know, it was just natural because you evolve as an artist. But looking back, I realized the first one was kind of different.
Did you feel like it was a step back or anything like that, having to play that and having to kind of have these requests to play it? Is that something that you're
No,
okay
that
with?
was my choice. You know, because I did a similar thing a few years back when I did the Åndens Opera, and I re-recorded the whole thing, and it became Spirit of Rebellion. And I toured that a lot, and I was like, fuck, I can't just keep playing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of enjoyed that whole going on stage and being just me. Maybe I also bring a drummer sometimes to make it a bit more organic. So I like that because it's uncomplicated as opposed to doing the whole band thing where, you know, you're 4 people and there's so many things that go wrong and there's like 4 fucking different brains colliding and stuff like that. So I realized it was quite an easy gig to do these things, and I liked the atmospheres of it, and you know, as opposed to many years ago where I had kind of a problem with my 90s stuff, which turned out to be more like a problem I had with myself. It wasn't really the stuff in the 90s. It was my brain being dumb, depression and all that stuff, you know. But anyway, it was just my own choice because I always thought like, well, this kind of worked out when I re-recorded that Ånden album. I thought, well, this is kind of cool. I enjoyed it. So after a while, I'm thinking, well, if I ever do this again, I'm going to do it with the first one.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like your original intent was to be a solitary project. You know, were you doing that because you were just wanting to be independent like that, or you just couldn't find the right people? Like, how did it start in that way?
In the beginning?
Yeah.
I think it was more about me being sick of being in bands, you know, because I'd done a couple of bands before Emperor that kind of failed. Well, we never really had a chance to fail even, but it was just sort of, I was the only guy, I think, in those bands that really kind of wanted to take it a few steps up, you know, and get something done. And so those were a couple of bands, and they didn't go anywhere. Then Emperor happened, and that was definitely going places. But with my temper back in the day, and other issues, you know, it lasted about 1.5 years or something like that. So once that sort of part of my life was over, and those 3 bands that kind of happened, bam, 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 you know, I was a little sick of it. I was like, fuck, bands suck. It sucks being in a band because, you know, they either fail or I get fired. So that kind of triggered the desire to, if I'm going to keep doing music, which I wanted because I always loved music, I'm just going to do this on my own. And at that point, I was heavily into Tangerine Dream and synthesizer stuff like 70s, atmospheric synthesizer music and stuff like that. So I'm thinking I could try making music on keyboards. I never intended to sound like Tangerine Dream or anything like that because I used to look at all the old albums and look at these. Look, I had a bit of a cold, by the way. That's why I sound a bit stuffy.
No problem.
I was looking at all these old photos from the records with like all the modulars and the walls of fucking modular synthesizers. I didn't even know what a fucking modular was. I was reading the list of equipment, and I'm like, I never heard about any of this. Like I recognized Roland and Korg.
Sure, yeah.
And Yamaha, you know, like the big companies, you know. And then I was on this like fucking PPG waves and fucking these obscure sequential circuits. What the fuck? ARP? Yeah, ARP Odyssey, ARP 2006. What are those things? So you didn't see those. They were old even by that point. They were ancient even then. So, you know, that didn't barely exist. So I was like, I'm not going to copy stuff I don't even understand. But I love the idea of making music on keyboards. And also the fact that they, their old album, the old Klaus Schulze albums, Tangerine Dream and some of the other bands, you know, they had like these 30-minute long songs. And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Broke all the rules, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
I really like that.
It's really interesting how you kind of you created that style at that point in time. I
didn't know that I did that. Well, I just made music.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
Yeah, yeah. But it's really interesting how you went from these full bands and you're like, I want to play keyboards and make some kind of keyboard-driven music, and you're referencing Tangerine Dream, and then
I always do.
Yeah, and then what you come up with is is your early records on Cold Meat and all that. Like it's pretty remarkable. Like you can definitely see some similarities with things like with black metal, but it's really it was completely unique at the time.
I think the parallels with black metal was obviously it was in my blood at the time because I'd just come out of the whole black metal scene. Like it had just kind of started.
Yeah.
Well, it hadn't started because you had the whole wave in the 80s, of course, which was a different thing. But that Norwegian madness that was just about to ensue, back in those days, that had just kind of started, and we didn't really know what was lying ahead. But there was definitely, that sort of extremist attitude was in me, and I just brought that into my keyboard music, with I want to make the ultimate dark music, like really fucking somber and shit. And I didn't know how to play. It was just like, I'm just going to make sounds and then make different melodies and piece them together. I didn't have a sequence or anything. I wasn't able to multi-track. And I've never been, I don't know musical theory to this day. I just hear stuff in my head and I just try to fucking put that into the world.
Yeah.
But these days I have the opportunity to multi-track, and I can try stuff out, and I can delete it and go back and try again. Back in those days, I would make melodies, and then I would try to remember that melody while making a second melody that was supposed to layer with the first one.
Yeah.
And I would write them down in color codes and just practice, and hopefully they would fit together once you got into the studio. And back in those days, it was tape machine too, which was kind of cool because it was analog.
Right.
But you couldn't play a mistake. You played a mistake, you had to start all over. You can't edit that. It's not fucking Pro Tools.
Yeah. No, man, it's made it so much easier now. Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you realize, oh shit, that melody that I want to put over that one
doesn't work.
Completely fucking crashes. Man, it's awful.
Yeah.
And you realize that in this studio, and you're like, I'm paying
shit
for this. So so you got to change stuff, and I'm not really a good player, so it's a big problem, But we figured it out, and sometimes I didn't care. It's I said just one note. It's kind of a little dissonant over there, and fix it in the mix.
Yeah.
Which is impossible. You don't fix it in the mix. You think you're going to fix it in the mix, but you don't.
You don't.
Right. It's always better to do it right off the bat and just get it right the first time, right?
Yeah.
If it's fucked, it's fucked, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Those early albums seemed like they were almost not improv, but almost like you're coming up with it on the spot. But it sounds like to me like you had a lot of it written out and just.
Well, they were kind of like anything but improv. They were really actually quite practiced in, and I had written everything down with all the fades, and I'd written down all the notes for every effect that was going to be on each sound, with the attack and the release of the sound. It had these primitive keyboards, so you only really had quite limited ability to edit your sounds. It was basically like attack and release and sustain as just one envelope, and I didn't really know about filters, stuff like that, Later on, when I realized what filters were, I was like, "That's fucking techno crap, man."
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I love filters now. I think they're fantastic. You can create incredible atmospheres using them. But at the time, I didn't understand that. And I'm kind of glad because I think it's better the way that it is instead of too much sort of studio trickery.
Sometimes I think technical limitations really lend themselves to creativity in ways that you wouldn't be creative otherwise. Those type of limitations sometimes really help me anyway.
These days, a lot, what I catch myself doing a lot is shit, I'm on the third day of just tweaking. I haven't actually worked on music.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking tweaking shit.
Yeah.
I'm not working on actual music, and sometimes you're kind of okay, that's enough for that. So there was none of that back in those days. It was just music.
Yeah. It seems like you have a pretty impressive wall of gear behind you.
Yeah.
I see at least 4 keyboards, a few different racks.
I got, there's more than that.
Yeah,
wow.
I imagine.
Are you? Well, this is cool when it works. It's always something that malfunctions.
Truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Are you in Oslo?
No, I'm about an hour away.
Okay.
Fredrikstad.
Okay.
Which is close. I don't know if you can imagine Norway in your head.
Mm-hmm.
but it's kind of like towards, I think it's like southeast of Oslo, which closer to the Swedish border.
Nice. Oh, okay.
About a half an hour from Sweden.
Okay, great.
Do you have, does all that equipment overwhelm you? Do you get inspired by having all the newer equipment, or do you keep up with that kind of stuff? Like, yeah.
A lot of this stuff isn't really that new. Nice. It probably just looks like it from a distance. Yeah. I mean, there's like a lot of dynacords and stuff. Looks like old German weird fucking echoes.
That's awesome.
And Bucket Brigade delays, stuff like that. And I think the newest thing here is might be the Decker's Dream synth, which is like the CS80 Vangelis synth, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Amazing.
Which is fucking expensive, and I haven't really used it yet.
Oh, damn. You can get your money's worth out of it.
I haven't really learned it, but there was a guy selling it on one of those sort of Norwegian Craigslist, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, I fucking love Vangelis and Blade Runner, you know?
Yeah.
And I know that's like, apparently it's a very nice tribute to that synthesizer. Like, it sounds quite similar. And it was selling it at a pretty good price, and I had the money, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to buy it.
Nice.
Because at least I have it now, you know?
Right.
So I can use it whenever I get around to it. It's going to have to be its own album or something like that, just using that one.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So that's probably the newest piece of equipment that I have here. I mean, it's like Eventides and other old shit, you know? It's like 80s, 70s, and 80s stuff mostly.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very
cool.
I
like.
How do you feel about the term Dungeon Synth?
I'm okay with it now. When somebody brought that up to me, it's got to be like it must be closing in on a decade now.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned it. I thought it was a bit silly.
Yeah.
My first thought was, are they serious, or are they just kind of laughing at that type of music? Or are they being funny? Yeah. And the second thought I had, how do you get electricity in the dungeon?
Yeah, it's an oxymoron or whatever that's called. Yeah.
I didn't think
that
about
was
that.
That was kind of like, that was my sort of humorous thought about it. And yeah, so I thought it was a little silly, and you know, it didn't sound. It doesn't sound as cool as heavy metal. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Black metal. That's like fucking. You know,
yeah, exactly.
Dungeon Synth. I had to live with it for a while. Now I kind of like it, but I guess it's because the genre hasn't. I wouldn't say it's not a big commercial thing, but it's within its own realm. It seems to have expanded quite a lot.
Yeah,
pretty immensely in the last 10 years.
Yeah. While also remaining underground, so it kind of reminds me a lot of that sort of like 80s death metal, thrash metal, but at a smaller level. But it's like it didn't go like this; it just went like this.
Yeah,
if that visualization makes any sense.
Totally, yeah.
So I've been living with it, and I'm like, yeah, I think it's cool now. I've gotten so used to it, I couldn't imagine it being called anything else.
Yeah. Do you think you have
it's like that old band Kiss, right? It's a shitty fucking band name.
Yeah.
It's just a sound now, and it couldn't be any other sound.
That's right.
It has to be Kiss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid name.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
That's what it's got to be that.
You don't even think about the connotation or what it even means anymore. It's just Kiss, you know.
Yeah.
It's like
Exactly.
Yeah, it transcends any meaning. It's like just sounds in a word now at this point.
I think maybe that's what's happening to Dungeon Synth. At least in my mind, you know, it's just accepted, and that's what it is.
Yeah. Do you have any concept of how large Dungeon Synth has gotten in the last 10 years or so?
I know there's a lot of projects.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, beyond that, I don't know. I don't think there are any huge sellers in the sense that, you know, he sold 50,000 albums.
No way.
I don't think anything is big in that sense. But
I just mean
my impression is, sorry.
I just mean the number of projects.
Right
now.
And that's what I was about to say. It kind of feels like every fucking black metal musician, at least, has a side project that is a Dungeon Synth project. So they're all kind of like carving out their own little space in that space.
Yeah.
That's my impression anyway. I could be wrong about it.
I mean, we here in Portland, there's Dungeon Synth festivals. You know, there's a real scene for it that didn't exist even 10 years ago.
Less, I would say.
Yeah, less than 10 years, maybe even 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Do you take any credit for creating this genre? Do you think that that's accurate to say that you created this?
Everybody should pay me royalties for everything they do.
I would happily do that.
Great answer.
Fuck yeah, just send all that shit to Mortiis.
That was so great. No, I don't know. I mean, I don't. I know. I was early, and I guess most of them know who I am.
Yeah.
So I think some new players probably don't even know, because it's already now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's been so long.
Dungeon Synth has actually been around for a few years, so you have there are sort of rookies within a rookie genre. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but there's new people coming into a relatively new scene. And this old dude that was doing that shit fucking back in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's a bit like someone getting into like black metal, death metal, thrash metal now may not know who Venom were.
Yeah, right. That's true.
And if you play them Venom, they think it sucks too.
Yeah.
Right.
This is hard rock or something. Yeah.
I think they should die because of it. But
yeah.
fucking. So I'm not comparing myself to Venom in any way, but I mean the same principle I think kind of applies a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's not like I have constant exposure every fucking day to everybody that listens to Dungeon Synth. I mean, I pop up once in a while, and then I've seen some of these sort of forums where someone has about, you know who that is?
Yeah.
That's fucking Mortiis. Show some respect to some asshole guy or something. And I'm like, right.
Yeah.
So there's definitely like a generational gap or something.
For sure.
How's that feel to have all the older stuff reissued? Even that VHS has been reissued, and this new Shadow of the Tower thing that you put out and stuff.
Oh yeah, the tape I found on.
Yeah, that's really cool. You did that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a droney thing. I don't know what kind of music that really is. It was made in the same time, but I was slowly transitioning over to like more industrial music. Back in the late '90s, so I was getting into that. But I mean, I control a lot of that stuff, not all of it, because Earache unfortunately owns stuff like Crypt of the Wizard and the Stargate. So, although the Crypt album is in a way being reissued now, actually in a couple of weeks, out of season.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we found a little bit of a loophole
Good.
in that old terrible Earache contract. I mean, it's basically like a deal with the devil. You can't get out of it.
Even like this many years later, still held up.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're assholes.
Is it one of those in perpetuity type agreements?
Yeah, in perpetuity for the known universe, I think it says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty encompassing. Yeah.
Yeah, my band got offered an Earache contract, and it was the same thing. Like in this universe and every known universe or something like that. And
because now, of course, Marvel might be onto something. There are multiple universes, right? So that they can sell my fucking...
They covered that as well, yeah.
They can sell to all the parallel versions of the people that already bought the fucking album. They can sell it again. Yeah. But they probably bought the album in the parallel universe, I guess. It's like reality.
Yeah, exactly, maybe.
So it's like, what's the point,
Yeah. Have they been keeping up with reissuing it or anything? I haven't even heard. I don't know. They're just sitting on it, I think, right?
I'm sorry?
Are they just sitting on those albums on Earache, or are they actually... Is Earache doing anything with that stuff?
No, the last time they reissued anything was, I guess, back in 2007 or 8 or something like that. It took... because they own my first album in the world except for the United States. So I can do reissues of it over in the U.S. easily.
Yeah,
that's why that's going on sometimes.
I see.
In the rest of the world, I had to be very careful about selling it because they tried to fucking they got all shitty about. I remember once on my website, I sold a few cassettes of it. I'm sitting over here in my web store over here, and they emailed me and said that you can't do it.
Oh my god!
You own it here, and I'm like, it's a couple of fucking cassettes. Just don't do it.
Wow.
They're fucking crazy. These are the people that put out fucking Morbid Angel. They made a lot of money, and they go fucking bitching over cassettes, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not about the money; it's about the fucking power and control.
Right.
Because they're not good in the head.
It's a headache as well as earache, right?
Assache. Assache, we call them.
Assache. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of labels, I wanted to talk to you a second about Cold Meat. I felt like your work with Cold Meat was really appropriate for that label.
I think it was different for them, but it worked.
It was different, but but with acts like Raison d'Etre and things like that. I remember in the 90s, Cold Meat was really big for me. After a while, I kind of lost track of them a little bit, but I thought it was really interesting. You kind of going from this black metal background to really feeling like, at least from my perspective, it felt like your albums were very much at home on that label.
I thought it worked out. I mean, I know I know it was different from what he had put out earlier, but I was like you. I was a fan of the discovered me through one of those Slayer mags. I think it was like Slayer 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And it was an interview with Roger and back of it. And he looked like he put on some like weird makeup, but it looked like his eyes had been gouged out or something. And for like 92, that was fucking different, man. I was like, this is fucking darker than the black metal stuff I've seen so far. You know,
those early Brighter Death Now records are some of my favorite shit.
Yeah, I hadn't even heard the music at the time. Well, it's not music, really. It's just sounds.
Yeah.
But I just saw this photo of him sitting in a couch, like it was like so suicidal looking, you know.
Yeah.
And so I wrote the label based on that photo alone, you know. And,
oh, really? Okay.
And, yeah. And well, that's how we did it back in those days in the 80s too. It was all face value, like, you know, if a band had whoever had the coolest record sleeve, that was the album I was going to buy.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
You know, back in the 80s. And so Necrophagia, you know, like with Season of the Dead, obviously, I mean, I bought that one immediately. Yeah. Remember that one?
Yep. But that's how I got...
Fucking zombies fucking eating that corpse.
Yeah, of course. It's amazing.
It doesn't sound that hardcore now, but
no.
In 87, that was insane.
Oh, yeah, we were there. Did the same thing back then.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So I wrote him, and he got back to me, and I ordered some stuff, and I got like the Pain in Progress LP. I remember that, and some other stuff, and Race on Death. You know, had like Prospectus 1, I think, was out at the time. And it's Slaughter Natives, you know, stuff like that.
I love and Slaughter Natives. That's so good.
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking great, man. It's cool. He actually mastered some later albums for me, actually, like many years later. So he's a great guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So after a while, I sent him a tape of my first album, and he was like, "Fuck, man, I want to put this out." And I can't do that because I'm signed with Malicious Records in Germany. But we're going to put out the first one, but I have another one recorded, basically. So we got into a deal, and
nice.
Then a lot of the cold metal industry sort of elitist people got a little pissed off because I came out of the wrong scene, you know.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Metal guy.
Yeah. That reminds me of Vond.
Yeah. The only reason that exists was because the music was slightly different than Mortiis. Looking back, I should have just put everything out as Mortiis. I would have had
I was wondering that.
More interest in discography, really, instead of just watering it out with all these side projects. But, you know, that's like sort of thinking in hindsight, you know, I can't fucking change it. It is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Did you feel like that was a natural progression, the Vond, what you were into, or coming from early Mortiis, or I forget the timeline exactly, but...
Well, the first Vond was recorded just a couple of months after the first Mortiis.
Wow.
They were kind of made at the same time.
Really?
And it was actually released before the first Mortiis because that was on a different label called Necromantic Gallery, I think. They were putting out the LP. And they were quicker to just get shit done than Malicious. So it's really weird. My side project was released before my main project. Yeah. So that it doesn't make sense. And it kind of pissed me off at the time, but I was also excited that I was my first LP that I'm on. It was a big deal to be on. Yeah. I'm on that wax. That's me fucking playing there. You know, that was incredible to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it still kind of is, but I mean, it was a way bigger deal at the time, you know, back in 94 or whenever that came out. I thought that was fantastic.
Do you want to talk about the cover, or what was the cover art is just so shocking, you know?
Is it?
I don't know. To me, like when I remember in '94, it was for me. It was like, what?
I think it was probably more shocking at the time. But you got to also think about, like, you know, if you ever collected like punk singles or punk albums, they put way worse shit on their covers. There were like all kinds of suffering and war, fucking atrocities and stuff right there on the sleeve.
Yeah, that's true.
Not because they liked it, but because they were against it. It was like, look at this shit that's happening in this world.
Yeah.
So a couple of people sitting in a bathtub with a knife. It's not really that bad, but I think it. But it got banned, I think, in Germany.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think, yeah, because this was back in the day when records were still sold in stores and stuff. There were still record stores and shit like that, and people were buying CD and vinyl was dying, you know. And I remember the guy from, because Malicious were putting out the CD version of it, and when that eventually came out, they told me something along the lines of like, shit, it's been banned in German stores.
Wow.
it was never made to sell, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
The atmosphere of the cover though is really intense.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The subject matter might not be too crazy, but the atmosphere of it is.
It's an intense.
Well, the subject matter is pretty dark. It was about suicide, and it was basically the lyric basically kind of encourages taking your own life.
Yeah.
Which is I wouldn't have done that today. I have kids now. Yeah, I feel more responsible about things, but back in those days, it's basically a poem about like, don't worry about it, just take your life. It's not that bad.
Wow.
Death might be preferable.
Yeah.
I was a little depressed back in those days and a little dark-minded.
To you, as an adult, do you look back on that and you're, all of us maybe were obsessed with death in the early '90s, and I don't know, in our youth.
It was a thing, Yeah, we were definitely. I don't know, there was something aesthetic about it. Like, we I think we thought about it in like artful terms in a way.
Yeah.
Even though I can't explain that any better, I guess it was just a fascination, like a morbid fascination with it. Still have it in a way.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to go away. I like dark things. It's just my personality.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I like for dark things to happen to people.
That's right.
True.
From an art perspective, I find it attractive.
I find like it's a looking death in the face kind of thing, almost maybe becoming a little more used to the inevitability that we will die, and maybe that's something that I should be okay with. So I'm going to face it.
The inevitability of Dungeon Synth.
It's coming for you.
Coming. Yeah. Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Whether you like it or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I would like to play a modern Dungeon Synth track.
You could play the one that I had from Bandcamp. It's definitely influenced by Mortiis, and it's interesting to listen to it, compared to his early stuff at least. Or if you want to go ultra modern, you can play the Malfet one. I don't know what the
ultra modern.
Yeah, modern dungeon.
And it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
This is a friend of mine. This is a track from an album I mastered this last year. It's called "To Assail the Thresholds of Woe" by Malfet.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay. So maybe you've heard this before. That's cool. I haven't heard that track before.
I wonder if the kids are really into D&D and stuff. I wonder if that has kind of made the genre more,
Oh, maybe so.
Because they're listening to it while they play D&D or something. Because it's such a medieval melodies there and all these things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like he's been listening to actual medieval music.
Yeah. I get that feeling as well.
At least in that second part there.
Yeah. Had you heard that before, Mortiis?
Well, I did a few shows with Malfit, like when I toured the U.S., I think in 2020, right before the pandemic.
Okay.
Malfit was on, I think 3 of them, actually. I think a couple of in California. And then his hometown, where they put on like a Mortiis show, Mortiis/Malfit show.
Wow.
Which was sort of like not part of the tour. Like by that, I mean, my agent wasn't involved with it. It was just like between me and him. We just tacked it on at the end of the tour.
Right.
But he was cool. But, I'm never able to check out bands right before I go on because putting on all that makeup and the mat, it takes about an hour.
Mm-hmm. Does it really? Wow.
So, yeah. Well, I can do it quicker, really. But I always got to, like, factor in, like, an hour just for safety.
Yeah.
In case there's a problem.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you feel like
it happens? It happens.
Is there, like, a ritualistic thing about putting on the makeup and doing the whole thing? Is that, I guess... I don't know. How do you feel about doing it? Is it more of a drag than anything, or do you really enjoy it?
I think it's like part drag, part ritual.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
There's definitely a sense of turning into something different visually. You're very much aware when you put all that stuff on. I mean, I know I don't look like I usually do.
Yeah.
So there's a sensation to that. Don't know if it's ritualistic. There's a lot of glue in the draggy part.
Yeah.
Get my face stick on.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Cool music. A lot of fucking reverb, man.
This is true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I dug that track.
It sounded, it almost doesn't really sound like synthesizers anymore. When you put on that much reverb and echo and stuff like that, it just sounds like it's in a big fucking room, like a hall.
Right. And
or something.
With, like modern VSTs, it sounds a little more realistic as well in that regard, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Just like using modern VST synth instruments, it sounds a lot more realistic than something on a old 90s keyboard would have sounded. Yeah.
What you mean when you wash it in reverb, or
either? Yeah, right. Or even just on its own. I feel like.
Yeah. I don't know. Does they use VSTs or they use real instruments? I mean, or like real keyboards, like hardware stuff.
Combination of both, I believe. I think a lot of it is a lot of VST stuff on Apple Logic.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've gone the hardware route the last few years myself. But I use a lot of I use samplers a lot, like old samples like Mellotrons and Chamberlains. Chamberlain is kind of like a Mellotron. Oh, this sounds a bit cleaner. Came out like in the 50s and the 60s. Like it's like a taped loop based sort of like keyboard thing, like a Mellotron is. But it has a fucking great. One of the sounds is like a male operatic voice, which is fucking fantastic.
Wow.
That's like all the choir stuff on that Spirit of Rebellion album that I put out. That's all like Chamberlain samples. So that's basically like a 50s fucking recording all over.
Wow. That's so cool. Wow.
That's really cool.
And just for fun, I thought, well, they might be cheap in real life. There might be like a Hammond organ, like nobody wants them anymore. Like, you can get it for free. And I checked that out on Reverb, and it's like $13,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll stick to my samples.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jori, what's your relationship with Malfit? Did you master that record?
I did master that record. So I first came across Malfit I've engineered or mastered a lot of vinyl for the record label Dungeons Deep Recordings out of Ohio, and they put out all of most of Malfit's discography, and that's how I came across them. Was their first record, The Snaking Path. That was my first connection with them, and then I corresponded through email with Ross of Malfit for a few years after that, and I finally got to see him at was it the Lithic Cascadia?
Yeah. Oh, he played that. Cool.
2022. Yeah, nice. And that's where we got to meet finally for the first time. And then I saw him again just recently at the Star Theater for the Dungeon Synth show that was there. So, yeah, great cool. Human being.
Nice.
Yeah, he's nice.
Love his music. So, yeah.
What album of yours are you most proud of there, Mortiis? I think you have such a variety of sounds coming out of your mind that I'm just curious about that.
I think the new one when that comes out.
Yeah, of course.
That should always be the answer anyway.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. That's true.
Well, my new was not quite as good as those other 5. That would.
Yeah, you're never gonna say that.
That's a bad sign, man.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of was always pissed me off when Iron Maiden would do that or something. It's like, come on, we know we're not talking about Power Slave here. So let's just stop saying that this is any good.
But they have to say that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, this is a new album. It's not top 10. But
Yeah.
Right.
We phoned
It's
this
an
one
album.
in. Yeah.
yeah. It's in the contract.
Yeah, it is.
Got to do it. So no. I mean, I don't know. I was pretty happy with Spirit of Rebellion when that came out, but I know it's a re-recording, like 50-50, re-recording 50% new. So I thought that was kind of cool. But to be honest, I think from the Mortiis discography record, the record that I'm probably the most proud of so far, it's not a Dungeon Synth album. It's like it's one called The Great Deceiver, which is like industrial rock type of thing. Because I've kind of felt like we made a really good industrial rock sounding album, and we beat a lot of like obstacles and tackled a lot of problems at the time. Personal shit and firing members and firing management and firing merch suppliers. I fired everybody around me while I was in the studio. And in the end, it was just me and the guitar player, nobody else. Fired management. Wow. And my wife almost fired me. So it was a crazy fucking time. And nobody were interested in Mortiis at the time, too, because that kind of music was kind of dying away. Nobody really cared too much about industrial rock at the time. And everything was kind of like this tapering off, and which was very frustrating because I knew we were making such a great album. So it was kind of like more, it's a exercise in just perseverance and just fucking sticking to it and just doing it. And the album sold nothing. Nobody knows that it exists. But, fuck it. I love that album, and I'm still proud of it.
When did that come out?
It came out around 2016.
Okay.
We went out on this really weird tour with Mushroom Head in the U.S.
No, really?
Before it came out. Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, it was everything. It was this weird fucking day. So we did a couple of UK tours around that. I mean, they were okay. We toured with Pig, which was fucking great, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Like old Raymond Watts, the old KMFDM guy and all that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And had several KMFDM members on that tour too. So that was it was a cool tour. Badly promoted as everything was at the time in my life. So it was like you work shitloads and then nobody else does a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So story of my fucking life sometimes. But yeah, cool album. Not Dungeon Synth at all, but probably the one that I'm most proud of for many reasons.
Nice.
Yeah, interesting.
How do you feel now about working with others versus working on your own, and what's your future like for that?
The way I work with people now is mostly that I sit here in the studio mostly alone. If I have someone in here, it's usually for some vocals or some little guitar effects or something like that. I'll just send them tracks like, stems, with maybe some guide tracks. Like if I want someone to sing something, choirs and shit like that, I'll just write a long fucking email explaining what I want. Nice. And, tagging along guide tracks and stems and things like that, just trying to describe as much as possible, avoiding the phone as much as I can because I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I'm weird like that. Don't like the phone. When the phone rings, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm not expecting a
Who's
call.
doing this?
Yeah. It makes me nervous, man, for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so that's the way it's done, really. Nice. And it usually works out really well. Some people do not take instructions at all. It's like they do exactly the opposite of what I want to do. And so there's a lot of back and forth, but we always nail it in the end.
Yeah, that's great.
With a little bit of auto tune.
Nice. You'll get there eventually. Yeah.
Shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you working with the label for this new record?
I have a couple of labels on because this is more like this isn't one of those license situations. But like when I license out stuff that I own, it's always like almost like a handshake kind of deal. Like, okay, so you're gonna do 500 copies or something on LP, and you'll give me 100 copies, and I'll sell it to the web store. They're just simple, easy deals. When I create a whole new album from scratch, it's a little bit more serious for me.
Yeah. Especially
with this kind of music, which is, it might have a couple of Dungeon Synth kind of moments, but it's very atmospheric sounding, but it's quite a wide palette of sounds and music. So
very cool.
This is something I want to be a little bit more serious about it, in the sense that if I'm going to sign with a label for this, it's going to have to be a little bit of money involved. I've put a lot of cash into this, to be honest.
Yeah.
And, I have a house and I have 2 cars and all that kind of shit. So you got bills, man. So if you want this, you got to pay me, Yeah. It's just the way it is. So I got a couple labels that we're kind of negotiating with right now. But it's a bit early stages, so I'm not going to say who they are.
Yeah.
Sort of mid-sized labels. It's nothing major. But then again, I don't know if I want major. It's basically just a big ass fuck, really.
Yeah, you've been through it. Yep.
Yeah. So, fingers crossed that they'll give me a good deal. But who knows? I'm always prepared to just tell them to fuck off and just do it on my own too. So,
thanks.
Always an option.
And done that. That's always an option. I've done that before. It's like I said to one of the labels. I said it straight out. If you don't give me a fucking good offer, I would rather give this album away for free. And I did that once with an album called Perfectly Defect. To put it out on Bandcamp for free.
Wow.
And then 2 weeks later, I had a 15,000 people fucking mailing list. So that was kind of
yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That has value too, man.
I think that's the future, right? It's like being in control completely your own self. I know it's a lot more work, but
yeah, I try to. But I mean, you got to give something up if you want labels to invest in you. You have to give something up too at the same time. Right. Just not for perpetuity in all known universes.
Yeah, exactly.
So
the Marvel universe and the meta universe.
Yeah. Everybody has to make money and be happy. That makes a lot of sense to me. It's not just about the one side. It's got to be about both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
That also creates, when everybody's happy, everybody wants to move on and continue, and that's motivation. Then I want to make another album for you because you're treating me nice, and you want to put another album with me because hopefully it sells.
Yeah.
So that's the way it should be. But most labels don't fucking get it. They're not happy until you're miserable. So.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
I have such a positive outlook.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans for any live performances coming up, or are you just focusing on the record?
I'm all over the place all the time. It looks like, well, we are, as long as the visas come through, we are touring China in March.
Oh, wow.
Shit.
That's
Nice.
so cool.
Yeah. Going to bring back some COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact,
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, and right after that, it looks like we're heading off to Australia. That's going to be my second tour there, but it's going to be like a very small venue kind of tour. But I'm kind of glad to just go back there, man.
That's great.
It's going to be like small, really small clubs. But it's kind of cool. Australia is so far away, so almost nobody gets to play there.
Yeah. Have you played there before?
Yeah, I did a tour, toured Australia and New Zealand back in 2018.
Okay,
nice.
And in 2020, we started discussing doing another tour. And then, of course, the week after, the world shut down.
Right.
And it shut down for about 2 years.
Yeah. Yep. I heard about that.
Yeah, that's weird.
You
That
heard
happened
about
to
that?
you.
Yeah.
It didn't happen to us, man.
No.
Yeah. No, America was totally safe.
I had my flights over canceled. I was going to New York in like late February or something, or early March.
Yeah.
And for some stuff. And every day I would look at my flight like it was canceled, and it was back on, then it was canceled, it was back on, and then all of a sudden the world shut down. And I got my money back though, so
good.
It was annoying. It was kind of an important trip, but fuck it, shit happens.
Yeah. I don't want to keep you too long, but I do have a little diversion that I want to ask you about quickly. The Emperor Reunion show that you joined, like, how did that go for you? You played like a few songs. Is that correct?
Yeah, the first one, I think in the beginning it was just going to be me and Foul sort of guesting on that live stream thing that they did. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I should say we, because I was there.
Yeah.
Well, that was only 2 songs, which was kind of okay. It was the fuck was it? It was we used to always cover Bathory back in the day, like Called from the Grave, and then we did Wrath of the Tyrant, I think.
Yeah.
Was the other one. So we did that for like the streaming thing, and that was pretty cool. And I guess they liked the way that turned out, because a bit later on they asked if I could do 3 shows. I was only able to do 2 of them. They wanted me to also go to London and do like a big show there. But I was on tour with Mayhem at the time, so I wasn't able to do that. We toured with Mayhem in Europe.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Like a month and a half or 2 months or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did like a Swedish festival, and then we did that. The cool one, the really cool one, was that up in Bergen at the fuck was that called?
Beyond the Gates. Yeah. That looked amazing.
That was us. Yeah. That was pretty cool. And by that point, we were doing 4 songs. I think we had added Celtic Frost, Usurper. That was the other cover song we always did at rehearsals back in 92, 91, 92. And then there was I'm the Black Wizards.
Great.
Which is more technical. I had to practice. I hadn't played the bass 30 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had to go upstairs. Like every day I went upstairs like for like an hour or 2 hours just fucking practicing the bass. And I was pretty much able to pull through without looking too damn bad.
That's good. That's good.
So, I mean, On the Black Wizards is a much more difficult song to play as opposed to like Wrath of Time, which is kind of like just a groovy, heavy song, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention Call from the Grave, which is like super heavy, kind of like almost doomy kind of playing, you know?
Yeah, totally.
It's got almost, and Celtic Frost is basically Black Sabbath, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
When you think about it. That heavy riffing.
That Nightside stuff is pretty technical at times, so I can imagine that's kind of a beast to
that was the one where it's got that weird time signatures and fucking syncopated shit, and all of a sudden you're like flying into a different riff like halfway through the what the fuck we just changed.
Yeah. Was Faust playing all those shows with you too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did 3 and Faust was there. We kind of came on at the same time together.
Right.
So
okay.
Cool. So
yeah,
cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Was that cool playing with those guys again, like on those big festivals?
Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
We still get along.
Yeah, that's good.
Better now probably than back then.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes people get older and you get more perspective and
and the weird thing is, like, even though we've been apart, like living in different cities for so many decades now, when we get together and talk, you realize how fucking similar your lives are, really, you know, with kids and how life sort of evolves. And, you know, so we have more in common now, of course, than we did back then. Because back then it was just music. That was pretty much it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, these days it's like a whole life of experience. And usually it's a lot of the same stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, Mortiis, it was a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, thanks so much. We super enjoyed talking to you. I think we're probably going to release this episode in the next week or so. It's got some editing to do. And,
in the next never.
No,
he's pretty good about it.
I'm good about this shit. Yeah.
This universe, yeah.
No, I'm good
in
about
next
it.
universe.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I own this podcast episode in this universe and all known universes.
Nice.
So.
For perpetuity.
In perpetuity. Yeah. It was a pleasure, man.
Yeah,
thanks so much for hanging out
man.
and talking with us.
Thank you.
And I'll keep you in the loop about when this launches.
Okay.
All right, man.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for everything, man.
All right.
Cool.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
This is Pete Lee from Lawnmower Death, and you're listening to I Hate Music with my good mate Jason Walton. He's a lovely boy.
Amazing, dude.
Little station ID action from
cool,
Pete.
Man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Back in the old college radio days, we used to get those occasionally and take recorders to shows and try to get people to do that.
Yeah. That's the whole point. Good old Pete Lee from Lawnmower Death.
Really cool.
Yeah. He's a lovely boy as well.
They're doing they must have done their Christmas show. We probably missed that, but that'd be something worth going to London for, you know.
That is something I've always
going
wanted.
to London's obviously worth a lot of things.
Oh yeah. No, I've thought about this many times.
Yeah,
like
cool. Let's do
actually,
it, bro.
Before the pandemic, the fam and I were talking about going to London, and I was like, it might not be an ideal time, but like, could we go like early December? And they're like, why? I'm like, I kind of want to see Lawnmower.
Yeah.
Like do their Christmas show. It'd be super cool.
Because they were having Kim Wilde also part of it, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I've never actually seen Lawnmower because when I performed with them, I was on stage for a song and then I was like backstage, like getting ready and getting my costume on and all that stuff. So I never really got to see him.
Bucket list.
Yeah.
Bucket list.
Bucket list.
List.
Speaking of fuck it.
Yeah.
What? Fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, yeah, nice.
You ready for this?
Good segue. Yeah, I got one for you, too.
Fuck, marry, kill. What would you fuck? What'd you marry? What'd you kill?
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. There you go.
That's great. All right. Fuck, marry, kill.
That was awesome.
I have a fuck, marry, kill.
Okay, I got one for you too.
Okay. Mine's strange. Okay. So here we go.
All right.
Fuck, marry, kill. Going to the Hawthorne Theater for a show with a stop at Gigantic Brewing first.
Okay.
Going to Tonic Lounge with a stop at the Horse Brass first.
Okay.
Going to Star Theater with a stop at Bailey's first.
Oh, God. I do miss Bailey's.
I know.
I would say Tonic Lounge would be to Mary.
Okay.
Because those aren't... They're not that close to each other, but that's appropriate, I suppose. Horse Brass and then Tonic Lounge.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to get into, like, you know...
The
okay,
semantics.
you got to turn down on Sandy there and then on 50...
Yeah. I'm just thinking like
close to
our old school things
exactly,
that we used to do.
Yeah. And then... oh, God. I would have to kill the Hawthorne Theater one and then fuck the Star Theater one.
With Bailey's.
Yeah. I miss Bailey's a lot.
I do too.
It's just like a fucking insurance company thing now. Like, what the hell?
Oh, really?
What happened?
Well, here's something I didn't know until I couldn't remember the name of Bailey's, and so I had to text Zach Chia to ask him what the name of the place was because he talks about Bailey's.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's Bailey's. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I didn't know this, but it's named after Jeff Bailey Phillips, who is the owner of Level.
Oh, wow.
So he was...
That was
his spot.
I didn't realize
and
that.
he got tired of doing Bailey's, and he wanted to open his like own brewery up.
Yeah.
And now he's the owner of Level.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yep. I think I would do... I think I would kill Hawthorne too. And I would... Yeah, I think I'm with you. I would kill Hawthorne, fuck Tonic, and marry Star Theater. Or no. I don't know.
I only say the Star Theater because of Bailey's. Star Theater's great venue.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But,
yeah.
Tonic Lounge, RIP. Hawthorne it's decent, but it's all we got. I mean, it could be better. But I hate the way they divide the 21 and over.
Oh man, I hate that.
That's rough. Pisses me off.
Yeah,
pisses me off.
Jori, what about you as far as Hawthorne, Tonic, and Star Theater?
Yeah, that's good.
Right. I mean, I feel like Hawthorne probably has the worst sounding of the rooms, so I might have to kill that one.
Nice.
Fuck probably Tonic Lounge. I only was able to go to a couple shows there before it closed. I love the Star Theater. It's a great vibe. Always sounds good there. I'd probably marry Star Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. I agree. Okay, mine. Do you want to say more about that?
Nope, I'm done.
Mine is fuck, marry, kill. Emperor Demo, Mortis' first album, or the Vond album that he put out, which is really great as well.
Well, let's.
I know they're different, but they're all starring Mortis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That was what I was thinking.
Let's define like the fucking marry. Marry
it's like a one night stand is what I'm thinking.
Right, like one night stand versus like heavy duty relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Man, I just love the Emperor Demo so much.
Of course. Yeah,
the Wrath of the Tyrant is
so
like
good.
I would probably marry Emperor Demo. Fuck. What'd you say?
Mortiis' first album.
Yeah, Mortis' first album.
Yeah.
And kill the Vond.
Well, that's appropriate to kill the Vond.
I know, right?
Because it's suicidal music.
Topical.
Yeah. Like a cream.
Yeah, exactly.
Topical like a cream. What about you, Jori?
I might do exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
the
I think
Emperor
I would
Demo
too.
is just choice, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not as familiar with Vond as I am with Mortis' first record, but I do like it a lot.
Right.
Nice. Yeah, I think I agree
That's a
as well.
tough call with those other two.
That is tough.
Yeah.
I have been into that Mortis album, and seeing it live was really exceptional. So
Yeah.
it put me back in that headspace. But that Emperor Demo, damn.
Yeah. I can listen to that every day. Yeah.
Yep. Did you have a fuck, marry, kill, Jori?
I did not.
Can you think of one off the top of your head?
Fuck, marry, kill. Jason.
Jesus, no.
Just kidding. No, I don't have anything right now.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Well, let's move on to
It's T-shirt of the day. It's a T-shirt of the day. Ew, what are you wearing? Let's find out. It's a T-shirt of the day.
So amazing.
So good.
It's so
great.
Like he got his wife to be part of it or something.
And his kid, too.
His kid.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Oh, Nick's unbuttoning.
Yeah.
We're about to see.
This
the
is,
wait,
reveal
don't
here.
don't show me.
Okay.
Oh, it's Fulci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the album is Tropical Sun, and it's a
Tropical Sun.
white shirt, and I thought
Right.
that was appropriate today on
It
a
is.
snowy day.
Yeah. You can show me now. I was just going to try to guess, but I got it.
You were going to guess before. You were like going to look through my skin?
Well,
Yeah,
I
you have
could
X-ray? Or?
I could see part of the logo, and so I was
Oh,
like,
I see.
yeah.
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 Tropical Sun.
Very
This
cool.
album is so good, dude.
Fulci.
So good. Been obsessed with those guys.
I know you have.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's been a while since, Frozen Soul, I guess, but it's been a while since a newer death metal band has really hit me that hard.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I've listened to it only like once. I got to check it out.
So
more.
good. Drum machine. Speaking of drum machines, they use one, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And it's pretty convincing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Even
Not
if
like
it's not, I like that.
Yeah, Mortician or something.
aesthetic.
Yeah, you know,
Right.
there's some aesthetic to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Totally.
What about you, Jori?
I am wearing a very stark Ulver T-shirt from the Shadows of the Sun era, just
Nice.
black with the white text.
I like it.
Love that.
Absolutely.
Is there anything on
iconic.
the back of that?
There's not. No,
It's just the logo.
Just plain. Yeah.
Nice.
I did bring my Secret Stairways long sleeve just in the event.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to wear that this morning. But
Nice. That's cool. You bought the shirt.
You could wear that like underneath.
I could.
Like
yeah.
two long
yeah,
sleeve
This
shirts.
has the sleeve prints that say Secret Stairways. It's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
I love
that'd be
that
neat.
old 90s look that you do sometimes
Yeah.
still with
Yeah.
the long sleeve, with the
Underneath
short
that.
sleeve.
Yeah.
I used to do that in high school all the time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because I'd be like, I'm wearing a D-side shirt, but there's still more Angel logos on my sleeve.
Wow.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you,
That's
bro?
cool. I am wearing Impaled Nazarene,
Nice.
Suomi Finland Perkele.
Nice. So
Yeah.
cool. So cool.
Yep. It's a bootleg shirt, but it's very comfy and makes me happy.
Good.
I love me some
Excellent.
Impaled Nazarene.
Yeah, I'm always prepared now for these podcasts.
Yeah, you're
now
wearing
that I
something
know you're going to do
appropriate.
that. Yeah. It's, oh, God.
But
I couldn't find my Mortiis shirt, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my shirts are getting a little out of control, I must admit.
Yeah.
It's on the stack somewhere.
Happens best. I have all of mine on hangers, so I can just flip through.
Oh, that's nice.
But
your closet must be pretty full. Then.
it's it's a problem.
Yeah, mine are folded.
I used to always have them on hangers because I like being able to see them and flip through them. And then Aaron's like, it's actually like collapsing our shelf. And
Yeah.
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 So mine are stacked now, which is fine.
Yep.
But it is hard to find stuff sometimes. I'm like, eh. And then they get unfolded, and I don't know how to fold a shirt. Like, I still can't
I
do it
don't
nicely.
either.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I only know because I used to work retail at Costco, and
nice.
folding clothes was a big part of the thing in the center of the store. So
Yeah.
Nice. So
you have to learn how to do it quickly so you can get done with it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Maybe you should
Yeah.
come over and organize my closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
You should come on the podcast again and give a lesson on how to fold
Yeah,
your
we
metal
could do a whole
shirts.
podcast about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can give you a demo on how to cut the sleeves off too. I've been pretty
Oh,
good
really?
at that lately,
Cool.
too.
Yeah.
And every time I do it, it like looks like shit. So
Yeah.
we should really do that. 'Cause
That's
we
cool
could do
still,
like a
though.
video and
Yeah.
like upload it. And we could teach people how to fold their band shirts.
Yeah.
Cut the sleeves off. Cause
Yeah, we can have a whole arts and crafts section of
We
this
really should.
podcast. I'd be happy to do that.
I hate crafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Do you color coordinate them as well? I wonder if there's some organizational things happening, or perhaps alphabetical.
Not really.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd be kind of cool.
I've thought about it,
Next
but
level.
I usually kind of just flip through and find one I'm vibing with.
That's cool.
regardless of
I like
color.
that spontaneity, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just every time I try to fold a shirt, it's like it gets fucked up, and then it's
Well, you want to show the logo too, right? You want to have it so
You
that
wanna
the
know
front
what
of
it
it
is.
is.
You don't-
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the key. Of
That
this
is the
whole
key.
Folding
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's where the Costco skills might come in handy. 'cause
Right.
He probably had to do that for the job.
I've seen people that have like those cardboard things that you put the
Those
shirt
are
on
cool.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
buy those? Is that like
Maybe.
something you can purchase?
Probably.
Yeah,
We
I've
can make one. Maybe we can do that part of the craft show. We'll make one.
We'll make
Right.
one.
There you go. Just a small piece of plywood would work, like.
Or is it? It's cardboard, isn't it? It has to be folded, or I don't
The
remember.
thing I'm
what we
thinking of,
talked
like
about.
it folds in, like it's like a piece
Oh,
of
is it
cardboard
like,
that
it's a whole thing? Oh, okay.
It's got a joint on it. I think it kinda
Right.
folds in.
folds in, and then you switch it or something. And
I see.
I don't know.
Yeah, I used to get out my folding table when I got a whole fresh batch of 100 Inefference t-shirts in, and I
yeah.
would tape off a square section on my table, and that would be the base size I would fold everything into.
Okay.
To just get it into that size.
Yeah.
Compact it. That's cool.
Huh. I got to learn this because it's so
Nerdy
annoying.
merch shit. Yeah.
Yeah. No, let's definitely do this. And we can make if we can make those cardboard folder things, we could make I Hate Music folders.
Yeah, just slap a few stickers on it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
that's
official.
Good.
It'll sell like hotcakes.
Oh yeah, they would.
Yeah. No, but it is an actual. It's my biggest problem in life right now.
Yeah.
It is a pretty solid concern. I've been meaning to talk to you about it for a while.
Yeah. Did you see my shit? It's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh no. We should do a tour, maybe a video tour. Maybe everyone would like to see your
Maybe
closet.
everyone would like to see my closet. Yeah, I'm
cool.
sure. I'm sure my wife would love that.
Good
God.
Stuff, good stuff.
Okay, let's move on to another segment. Are we ready for this?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, here we go.
Let's stump Nick. Let's stump Nick.
And Jori.
So smooth.
Oh, I do not know this actually.
Yeah,
so
you don't. I figured it out yesterday, and then I was going to tell Jori, and then I was like, no, because he can't know for the podcast.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Why?
I get stressed because I go through the thought process of trying to figure it out, and sometimes along the line I throw out a band in my head that's not even close to what that is.
Oh,
and
sure.
It's just like, oh god, I should have known better.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay, here we go.
2, 3.
Sounds very familiar. Damn. I'll have to wait till it kicks in. Yeah. Should I know this?
Yeah,
Oh damn.
it's a
I hate
tough
that.
one though.
I hate
It's a
that.
tough
I
one.
hate that so much.
Sonically, it could be on like any number of albums.
Is it like
You know it though.
it's
You
not like
recognize it?
newer Mortiis or something?
No, but you recognize it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which fades on the outside. I only want to
Sounds like New Metallica almost, you know? Like a little bit.
It does, you're right.
Like, that almost sounds like Hupville, just a little bit.
where lost souls meet, where I can share this flame with thee. Hide and
I don't know this vocalist. Maybe I do.
You do.
Wow. Okay.
Damn it.
He's done a wide variety of stuff though, so you may not necessarily know him like this.
Okay.
And even this project is not normally like this.
Oh, God. It's not like New Moonspell or something.
No. If you don't get it, I'm going to give you a couple hints.
Yeah, you're going to have to, I think. Is it Metalize right now? Is it over?
It's over.
That's
oh,
it.
jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you play another song from them or something?
Yeah, but the other... Okay, yeah, that's what I'll do.
I mean, give us more of a... Because
the-
was that a normal song for them? All
no,
acoustic? Okay.
but it's the way that that record ends.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to play... That's actually a really good
That's a
idea.
wild way to end an album.
Yeah.
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 One of my absolute favorite bands. One of my absolute favorite records.
It's not Catatonia, obviously.
No.
Ooh. I mean, that guitar sounds very distinct there. Oh, it's Cathedral, dude.
Yep.
That was Lee Dorian for sure.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I should have
well,
known.
hey.
Should have known. As soon as I heard the metal
got to
version.
say.
Yeah, so good.
Yep.
We gotta do a whole Cathedral episode.
Yep.
Good.
Wild. Okay.
What album's this off of? What album?
Ethereal Mirror.
Oh wow, I love
Yeah.
that album.
That's
Damn.
how it closes.
Nice. Yeah, I recognized it, but damn, it's been a while since I've actually sat down.
I listened to that one recently. Why did I listen to that recently? Did Radical Research mention that record? I feel like they did recently.
They a couple years ago they talked about Cathedral on the podcast. I don't know.
Yeah, something recently I was listening
I can't
to.
remember.
Or no, it was that newest issue of Decibel with Austin on the front.
Yeah,
the
got it right here.
Hall of Fame is Ethereal Mirror.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, oh man, I got to listen to this record again. I love that record so
yeah,
much.
it's great.
Yeah.
Let's do a Cathedral episode sometime.
Yeah, I would love to do a Cathedral episode. That'd be really killer. I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I wanted to close the episode with one song that we'll listen to and a quick discussion about it. And I know that Jori has heard this. I'm not sure that Nick knows this.
All right. Fucking awesome. It's almost like Asphyx or something. Is this new Chris Barnes? 6 feet under or something?
6 feet under.
Holy shit.
You're right.
New? Like what year?
This is...
Hey, I have not heard this. It's so distinct, though. As soon as he comes in, Chris Barnes.
Right.
He's a little older now.
But, like, what the hell happened to him?
He's been doing that shit for a long time now.
I know, but,
He does these vocal takes and he thinks that this is a good idea.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's wild to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
His 6 feet under output has been very similar to this style with that screechiness, too. He doesn't have it anymore, dude.
Well, you can tell that it's not very loud when he's like speaking in the microphone. It's kind of subdued.
He's out of breath or something, too.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, that guy sang on Butcher to Birth.
Well, yeah.
You know? And like,
I mean, think about how old he must be and how much weed he smokes. It's like, at this point, he's got to...
but like, how
He's losing it.
how can
There's not even
think it's good?
The technique's not even the same. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, it's insane. It's kind of sad.
It is. But that squealy thing?
He's been doing that for a while. I don't like it. It's like a fucking... Yeah, I don't know, like Chucky or something.
I mean, it's laughable. Like, literally laughable. Like,
Is that Terry Butler? I think he might still be playing with them.
Really?
I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I've read like forums and stuff about this newer 6 feet under stuff, and a lot of people are defensive in the fact that like sonically, musically, it's pretty good, except for the vocals. And I'm like, well, that's still a pretty solid aspect of this project.
The music's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's the same shit he's been doing. Since the late '90s.
I don't think it's remarkable, but it sounds okay.
I mean, the 6 feet under has always been like the AC/DC of death metal.
It's
right.
true.
Simple. And,
yeah.
I just find it unbelievable that anybody involved with this can be like, that's a good take.
It's an R. Kelly kind of situation where he's surrounding himself with people that are telling him he's great.
Yes, men.
Gotta be. Yep.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, it's
as soon as he came in, though, I fucking knew it. Because
you knew.
It's that sound he has. You know, there's still a little bit of real Chris Barnes in there. He's fucking his throat up with weed, I think. He's smoking too much.
I don't know. It's hard to listen to.
It is. It really is. Why didn't they take another take? Like, they could have gotten a better take.
The whole album's like this. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I thought, when I first heard this, I thought it was just the one track. And then I went to the next song, I'm like, oh no, it's all the tracks.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm pretty sure this sounds like an album where the band recorded it and everybody was really stoked on it, and then he took it home and then added his shit.
Yeah.
Then he put it out. It's like, it's good enough. Fuck it.
And then everybody's like, oh.
Yeah, it's like, what'd you do that for?
Yeah.
We could have helped you with this. Yeah. Because he doesn't realize how bad it is.
Well, he's been on that rant now that he's like the only good death metal vocalist.
Well, he claimed that tweet wasn't actually him. He said his account was hacked.
Really?
Oh, wow.
What was the tweet? It was like, every death metal vocalist sucks except for me.
That's right.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the whole thing's pretty silly.
Yeah, it is.
Alan West was in 6 Feet Under too, right?
He was, yeah. R.I.P. Or he's in prison.
I was like, wait, Alan West died?
I think he's
died.
in prison, yeah. Look that up.
Gotta look that up.
Rest in prison.
Rest in prison. It was still appropriate.
Right, yeah.
I hope he's resting.
So tired.
Yeah. Tired of all the child abuse he endured.
Yeah, he's still around.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he went through some shit, I think.
There is no obituary for Alan West.
Okay, so he's still alive.
He's still alive. Yeah, he founded 6 Feet Under with Chris Barnes of Cannibal Corpse.
Yep. Terry Butler.
Yep. Yeah. 1 year after being released from prison, he was arrested yet again in Citrus County, Florida, for felony. It says petite theft. I think they probably mean petty theft, but it definitely says petite.
If it's
he stole something small.
Yeah. Oh, right. Like a diamond ring.
Kind of a cute little thing he just decided to
like
take.
Keychains and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And a misdemeanor resisting a merchant.
What?
Yeah.
Resisting a merchant? Is he on this high seas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Merchant mariner kind of thing?
Precious cargo.
He was arrested. Okay. May 16th, 2007, he was arrested and imprisoned after his 5th DUI, incarcerated at the Gainesville Correctional Institution, blah, blah. In 2013, he was arrested for producing meth in his own home.
Oh, Jesus.
He was sentenced to 1 year, 3 months, and 15 days.
He's like every Florida Man article.
Yeah, he really is.
He's born and raised.
So remind me, guys, what was the story of the dude from Malevolent Creation that he made up, like the story of like getting robbed at the convenience store?
Oh, I don't remember that.
I don't think I know this, actually.
The Fasciano guy?
I think it might have been Fasciano.
Yeah.
But he claims that he was like got caught up in this robbery at a convenience store, and I think he even said he like killed the guy.
Oh, Jesus.
And so it was like this big news, and then like a month later it came out that like it never happened, and he just made it up.
Weird.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the older we get, the more those guys turn a little bit redneckish.
Yeah.
I hate to, anybody from Florida, I apologize. I'm not saying it's all Florida or anything, but these guys are death metal legends to us, and then we realize that they're very, very flawed human beings, but they put out great music. So, yeah.
I feel like with age too, I feel like your worldview either like narrows or expands. You know?
Yeah.
So people go both directions.
Yeah. Florida does something to you, though. Man, really? I don't know what's happening down there.
I think it's the humidity, the heat.
Yeah, it makes you a little crazy. It's incredible that, if you look geographically, not a lot of death metal comes from, sunny places. But
except for Florida.
Except for Florida. So something's going on down there.
Yeah.
Right? They're angry.
Yeah, I guess so.
Couldn't be more different than Norway, right?
Right.
Sweden, yeah.
There's no metal from the Bahamas or Hawaii or anything like that. Well, I think we've talked about that before, but
yeah, I think we did a call out for Hawaiian metal.
Yeah, exactly. We did. Yeah.
We got some from Alaska, which we didn't know about. We got some New Mexican stuff, but not
calling
any
all
Hawaiian.
Hawaiians. Give us your metal.
Yeah,
I want to know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
It would be interesting.
Be cool if they take in Hawaii, they take a lot of Western music and they kind of Hawaii it, make a little reggae or whatever.
Right.
I wonder if there's like a reggae metal crossover happening over there. That'd be interesting.
But there's tons of metal in South America.
Yeah.
But there's not much in...
Yeah, Brazil and stuff, of course.
Yeah,
it's a tropical place as well. But
right.
But like you rarely hear about like Thai or Filipino or any like Southeast Asian. I mean, there's some obviously, and I've heard of a few bands here and there.
Well, we have played the Mortiis by now. If I mentioned something about that interview,
yes,
he said he's going to China.
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, Mortiis is going to China, touring China.
That seems huge.
That seems kind of strange. Also,
yeah.
Who's paying for him to go over there? And there's Dungeon Synth scene over there, or what's happening?
There must be.
There's so many people, and I'm sure that there's interest.
Got to be something. Yeah. Somebody interested in that.
I remember a few years ago, Alcest played it, and they were telling me like they were treated like super well. And huge crowds, and like it was an amazing tour because not a lot of people go there.
That's right. So people come out.
Right. They probably don't get anything like that very often.
No.
And there were fans obviously singing their songs and everything like that. Alcest.
Oh yeah, I mean Alcest is huge.
Yeah,
but
that's incredible.
They had a great time in India too. I mean that's
it's crazy. There's been some Indian metal that's kind of made it over occasionally.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't remember the names or anything, but
even that band Thrissaz, they played in India a few years ago.
Oh, did they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were there.
Yeah, good on you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
That would be an interesting experience, man.
Yeah, I would love to do something like that.
Yeah.
Did you ever see, you didn't see any shows like when you were traveling like in India or anything?
No, that'd be cool though, right?
Yeah.
I do like to check that stuff out, but it's like how often does any band go over there?
Yeah.
You could saw some sitar and stuff,
Right, yeah. You could follow Maiden around the world or something.
But seeing like Orphanland in Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, that would be pretty awesome.
That would be great.
That would be
love
awesome.
that so much, man.
I just listened to them actually this week, first time in a long time.
I was
such a great band.
I was into those guys for a long time too.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I love Sahara. When that came out, I got a promo of it from Holy. It's like,
really,
it's just so different.
Yeah.
So different.
Oh, they do a perfect job of like blending those instruments with with metal.
Yeah.
It's like,
really
it takes
tasteful.
a lot of skill.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah. They're still around, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. But yeah. I think they're going through some shit over there though, from what I hear.
What's the news stuff? I've only seen I've only seen the headlines. No, but yeah. It's not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
Well, guys, it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah, that was great.
Thanks a lot for hanging, talking with Mortiis. That was a really good, interesting conversation.
One of the best.
What a good dude.
What a treat. And one of the best. Really good dude. Easy to talk to. Great conversationalist.
Forthcoming. I'm excited to hear more about this new record of his.
Yeah.
And
sounds like he's got a lot in the pipeline.
Yeah.
And it really makes me want to go back to check out a lot of the albums that I missed, especially the industrial rock stuff.
Me too. I don't think
probably pretty good.
I don't think I've ever heard The Great Deceiver.
Nope.
There's definitely some gaps in my Mortiis knowledge.
Yeah.
It was really cool to hear about his creative process a little bit.
Yeah.
How he made, like, especially those early records. It still just fascinates me how you can just like stumble upon this.
Yeah.
This
isn't that
musical form.
isn't that a common theme? I think with the revolutionaries or whatever, they just come up with it and then they don't even think about it. It's just different.
Right.
It's probably not even different in their head. They just want to put it out, and then all of a sudden, later on, people say how original it was and how new it is.
And how
he wasn't really
different.
striving for that. Probably he was just like, oh,
I
put
think
up
it's
music I like.
how some of the best artists made is just being true to yourself and
That's
doing
right.
what you think you want to do instead of trying to sound like somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Really cool, and I don't think the viewers or the listeners will see, but he had some really cool equipment back there. Like,
he had like a wall of gear behind him.
Oh my god, he didn't even talk about the keyboards. It's like, what's going on there too?
Right.
Yeah, I was like, it looks like you have like 4 keyboards. He's like, oh, I got a lot more than that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see like a video of him
in a studio.
Like recording or practicing or something like that. Like, how do you, how does he come up with that stuff? And he said he's not trained, so he's just earing out stuff.
Yep. Just what sounds good to him.
Which makes sense to me. I think if he had like more knowledge and was more proficient at piano or keyboard, he'd be a lot more.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? Grandiose. Like the compositions would be much more grandiose.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
So I think it lends itself to being
a simplicity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's interesting in metal. I think a lot of metalheads or musicians at least aren't classically trained. They kind of just pick it up and do what sounds good to them. I think being classically trained lends itself to performing in orchestras and maybe more professional bands that, I don't know, that don't lend itself to creativity a lot of times. They don't lend themselves to just like putting shit out there and jamming with people, or just like putting things out that sound good to you and spontaneous and stuff like that.
Right.
It's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I went to music school and learned theory and all that, and I feel like what matters and what's most important to me is just, doing what makes you feel something, and rather than like being theoretically, correct or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
So feeling it in your soul, knowing what that sounds like to you in your head, that's difficult. I don't think everybody has that connection.
Right. Yeah. So. I mean, it's cool to have a vocabulary to like understand when you're trying to make things. But
has that helped you in your performing?
I suppose it has, but like more or less, it's basically what I identify with, like what emotions are evoked when I'm creating something is what matters more than anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I think that's the core of music, or good music.
Right.
So we're starting a Dungeon Synth project now, right?
Sure. Let's do it.
All 3 of us.
That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We can call it the Wusz, Walton, Apedaile.
No, we'll come up with something like Dragon Lord or something.
Yeah.
It's got to be like something like that.
There's
a band out there called Dungeon Troll. That's perfect.
That is
name.
Great. Yeah.
Hole Dweller. Perfect name. Tolkien influenced.
Yeah.
Got to just be creative about it.
We should get out of the dungeon though and like into the sea. Be like Sea Quest or like
Sea Quest is good.
Shark Troll.
Shark Troll's really cool. I like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Shark Troll.
Yeah.
Actually, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. We could have some
So
nautical
I already
samples.
envision the artwork.
Can we incorporate some whale song into?
Oh, yeah. Of
Totally.
course, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy.
I've got all the reverbs we need.
All those like super wet reverbs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny that Mortiis picked up on the reverb thing.
Yeah. That was a fun comment.
Like, oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't even put that all together.
I don't really think about that very
me either.
much,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But he heard that right away.
Yeah. Yeah. That was interesting. I didn't know that he had toured with Malfett. And
I didn't know that about that coming over here in 2020.
Right, yeah.
Did you?
I didn't, no.
That was incredible.
That's cool that they are already connected, yeah.
Yeah, that was funny because we're like, oh, we're going to play this. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know these guys. I'm like, oh, well.
Damn it.
Okay.
That's great. I mean, I guess, there are a lot of people making this kind of thing, but I feel like the community is pretty tight-knit, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's cool that he's connected with the newer artists, even though he's like the godfather. That's really cool.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds to me he was probably a little surprised by the resurgence and all that, but it's cool that he's embraced it. He didn't just say that it's all bullshit.
And he's cool with the Dungeon Synth term now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Dark dungeon music. That's what he called it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I think that's what the slogan of his.
I think
was that
so.
his label even? Dark dungeon.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
Dark
Dungeon
Dungeon music. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, I had
93 or so.
I had this Mortiis shirt in like 97 or so. I found it in Minneapolis, and it was like a burgundy red, and it had a picture of him on the front, like in his whole costume and stuff, and on the back it said Dark Dungeon Music. And
awesome.
I wore that shirt so much.
That's
It's
so
just
cool.
like so cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wonder who applies his makeup. Does he do it all himself?
Sounded like he was doing it himself, but I don't know.
It takes him an hour or whatever. That's insane.
I always think about that. Like, imagine being like Guar
or Kiss or something. Even.
Yeah.
Guar especially. Jesus.
Yeah.
How much prep goes in?
How much sweat is underneath those costumes?
Yeah. What does Mortiis' nose look like? It's all collected at the end. It's all bunched up in there with the sweat. Gross.
It's dedication.
Yeah, it is.
I'm hot enough on stage with just a T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend Jessica Way, she saw. Well, I think it was Aesop booked Mortiis in San Francisco years and years and years ago.
Really?
And Jessica Way found his ears afterwards. Like, he left his ears at the venue.
Yeah.
And so she has his ears. And like one time for Halloween, she dressed up as Mortiis. And she had
the real
actual
ears. Oh,
yeah.
incredible. Yeah, it makes you wonder how many noses and ears he has. He must tour with a bunch of those just in case they get lost.
You should have. That would have been a great question to ask.
I mean, let's call him back.
Hey,
one more question.
Yeah, one quick question. He's such a good dude. I wouldn't be surprised if
he probably would
be into it.
He seems busy though too. So
yeah, he's making the new musics.
Yeah, and I did want to ask about the Stargate cover. That's incredible.
So cool.
Incredible.
Yeah.
How the computer is involved even for 97 or whatever. It wasn't easy to make him look like he's floating like that.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Maybe he actually jumped. I'm wondering all these things.
Yeah. Well.
Oh well. Next time.
Yeah, next time. All right, guys. Let's kill this thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Jori, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for your input on the Dungeons stuff, because I don't know much about it.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
As always, check out the earthandsound.org website for the store. We've got Dolvin merch. We've got Moonbladder merch, Snares with Sixes, all sorts of crazy shit. I still have a bunch of I Hate Music hoodies, the old Ramones seal logo one. A lot of XLs. They're horribly marked down in the store, so grab those if you want. Agaloc's playing February 17th.
Nice.
San Francisco.
Awesome.
The very first and very last show for Dawnbringer ever. So,
what?
Yep.
They're declaring that.
Oh, yeah. They've never played there before.
First.
This is their last tour. They're doing 4 shows, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
And then they're killing it for good.
Are they new material or anything? Or?
I don't know. But they're doing these 4 shows. They're doing like the 4 points of the U.S. So they're doing West Coast, East Coast. They're playing Hell's Headbangers.
Oh, they are good. So I'll see them there.
Yep.
Hell's Heroes.
Yep. And then they're playing Chicago or something.
Wow.
But yeah, first and last West Coast show, February 17th with Agaloc.
Very cool.
And that's all I have coming up. Jory?
Can I just plug my stuff real quick?
Yeah, please do.
So,
plug away.
You can find my music on any streaming platform. The band name is Inepherins. They're inepherins.bandcamp.com. Also, if you're looking to have a record mastered for any sort of medium, vinyl, digital, whatever, you can shoot me an email at inepherins@gmail.com. I'd be happy to talk to you and give you a quote. So
yeah, Jory's great. He Actually, it reminds me, I have a Snares of Sixes single coming out soon, early February, that Jori mastered.
Nice.
It's called Dogs of the Star Chain. It's the
nice.
first Snares things I've done in 3 or 4 years, something like that.
Wow, awesome.
Just a digital single and a video, but Jori mastered that. He does awesome work. So
appreciate that. Yeah.
And I think that's all I can announce at this point.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, people. And we're going to be doing at least another episode this month, maybe even 2. So stick with us. Please subscribe. Give us 2.5 stars or more. And write in to give us some content. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
An Earth in Sound production.
We're a band now.
That was fun.